Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the treacherous waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Jason Phelps, and I am joined, as ever, by Robbie Bellekom, Sam Gif Burns, and Ellie Sparrow.
That's apt today. I have the worst cold.
We're all quite sick. Yeah. We have post-con flu.
Yeah, I think everybody, as ever, except Sam, has post-con flu because Sam has the constitution of a rhinoceros.
Apparently, one of the few things I have in common with Corzin is his constitution modifier.
Yeah. Sam has the best immune system in Flintlocks and Fireballs. In a sort of disease, epidemic, apocalypse situation, Sam will last the longest, I feel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All the rest, I'd be sick in 3 seconds. I'd be dead.
Yeah, apparently your constitution is 15, based off the con of a rhinoceros in the Monster Manual.
Oh, that's not actually that far off.
That's wonderful. I love that you immediately looked that up.
Speaking of monsters and manuals, let us read the manual of the future and ask future us what monstages from the present. It's Future Jason with messages from the present. Listen up for a spot from our friends over at The Dice Girls during the Break This episode. So we've just come back from Pod UK, and gee gosh golly willikers, we had a blast. Wait, what exactly is a williker? Do they still make those, or did they become illegal around the time Coca-Cola had to change the recipe? In any case, we found ourselves overwhelmed by the wealth of support, love and enthusiasm from our stowaway community at the convention, many of whom travelled across wind and water to visit the con. We have more than a few shout-outs and thank yous about that. First of all, a massive thanks to Jess, Brett and Chris, the organisers at Rock Salt Events, who put together Pod UK and invited us to do a show and a panel there, and who brought this astounding event together. It has been a great success, and we look forward enthusiastically to its third year. Next, a big old thank you to everyone who came to the actual play panel, hosted by Ellie and by Maximilian John from Definitely Human. You were an astounding, attentive audience who asked interesting, insightful questions. It was amazing to see so many people enthusiastic about making their own thing in one room, and the thought of our story leading to more stories is mind-blowing. Thank you to everyone who came to our first ever live show, Celestia's Drunken Bender. It was a thrilling experience to perform and record a Flintlocks show before a live audience, and the energy in the auditorium was fantastic. All of you, both old hands who've been with us since the start and new stowaways who might only have started listening after that show, made that game what it was. Thank you. We'll put it up when we get it. And finally, some personal thank yous. Several stowaways gave us touching gifts. I will drop names and Twitter handles here. Thank you to Dee, at Deandria, for her sweets, tokens of the crew, and the tiny adventurer packs as well. Thank you to Dan, at the_Dan_CHEC, who gave us the flower crowns that we wore for the whole day and during the show. They are beautiful. Thank you to Charlotte at strange_forest_woman for the mead. Thank you to Elizabeth at VT Sphinx for the letter and the finger puppets. More on those at a later point. Thank you to Sam at Sam Likes Dragon for the dice and the stories that came with them. Thank you to Sarah at Spicy_Burritos for the wax-sealed letters. And thank you to Oliver, who presented me at the very start of the day with a framed piece of Admiral Nelson's ship, the HMS Victory. That would be the one he died on, and now it is on my desk. Oh, gosh golly. As a special thank you to Oliver, actually, we'd also like to draw attention to the charity he works with, the Big Yellow Bus Project. The Big Yellow Bus is a double-decker bus converted to provide warm, comfortable sleeping and basic cooking facilities for rough sleepers in Cirencester. For the last 2.5 years, the charity has worked to provide secure shelter for rough sleepers and operates off donations and volunteer efforts. If you'd like to donate or support the charity, you can do so by visiting bigyellowbusproject.co.uk. Thank you. And that's it for announcements this time. Back to you, Past Jason. Yes, I can portmanteau monsters and messages into one word.
That's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because you said monster jizz. That's what you said.
Yeah.
It might have been one word in your head, but it was two in mine.
What monster jizz from the present? Well, I mean, we already know by now.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it's like sandwiches, isn't it?
Yes. Sandwiches is still funny.
And speaking of funny, it's time for what will surely be a light-hearted episode.
Never say that.
I know what's coming. Of Flintlocks.
I hate you.
Nervous.
And
Why do you play with my emotions?
Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously, on Flintlocks and Fireballs. The party have left Jova.
Yeah.
Aboard the good ship's Kraken's Bane, you have begun your long journey to Sunder. A journey of some 3 months. Well, sort of 3.5 because of the detour you took to go to Werrick's Watch to go pick up your first mate and your captain's son. Time is continuing to pass, however, and there is quite a lot there's quite a lot that may happen on a 3-month journey. So you started off on the 13th of the 13th of
Falling Blossom, innit?
Falling Blossom. That was right.
Yeah, Falling Blossom.
That was right. As Jason gets up the shiny new calendar that he was putting together. There we go.
The GM notes have had a revamp. It's exciting.
GM notes have had a revamp, and they now include such useful information as when the moon happens.
When moon?
Relevant.
When moon?
When moon?
When moon.
When moon time?
Asking the important questions.
Moon
It
time,
is an important question.
as it turns out, is the 15th to the 17th of Falling Blossom.
Oh, I've just twigged as to why that's important.
Yes.
I'm stupid.
Which are coincidentally the same days that Belle asks for her days off.
Goodness, really?
She prepares some solid, some stout rations, some well-prepared foods in advance, and then proceeds to seal herself in her room for a good long read.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
Aghast. Do we hear anything?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah,
So
I'm
going to.
definitely going to.
Oh, no, I don't. That's a 6.
14?
19.
Scamp, once or twice you hear what sounds like a clunk or a thud, maybe a particularly heavy book dropped. Corzin, there's a point where you walk past where you swear you hear, just from inside the sealed locked room, like a little gentle, like quite kind of heavy breathing.
Is there a keyhole?
There is. Do you want to try and look through it?
Yeah, fuck it, I'm doing it.
As you raise your head up to where the keyhole is, the key is in the lock from the inside.
Of course it is.
Because she's a sensible person. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You would,
Alright,
wouldn't you?
he's
Yeah.
gonna carry on his merry way.
Time passes. The days stretch on as you head out past the edge of Meadmere, having collected what extra treasure you could garner from the from the one of the lairs of Orthotor. Then on past towards around the edge of Halfland, and skipping Seoul, going straight past the edge of Ossyria. You actually move along the northern edge, not far from the Duchy of Olmark.
Which is
Are we
where
there
that...
yet?
What are you going to say, love?
Are we there yet?
If you ask
No.
that every day for 3 months, I'll throw you over the side, and I'll keep doing it till you run out of fly spills. It'll take a really long time.
What if I ask it twice a day?
Then I'll... we'll keel haul
walks
you.
into
That's
that
what they
one.
call it, isn't it? I don't know what that means, but we'll do it. Yeah.
At which point, overhearing this conversation, Vig helpfully chips in. Keel holding, it's been a while. That's the one where you thread a long rope right under the keel from the front of the ship to the back, and then you fish the rope up so that you've got the rope running all the way underneath the keel of the boat. And then you tie someone to the rope and you run them along the entire keel of the rope.
That sounds fun. Let's do that.
Is that bad?
It's
I mean,
usually
if you can breathe underwater, not as bad as it might otherwise be.
How long does it take?
about 12 minutes.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, that's bad, isn't it? Ha!
Wait, isn't the bottom of the ship, like, rough?
Very.
It's not, like, smooth. That'll hurt.
There's a slightly mean-spirited cackle from Vig.
Sailors are batshit.
It's classically one for mutineers.
Lovely. Makes you wonder why they decided to mutiny in the first place, if they knew that sort of thing was awaiting them.
Vig shrugs. So, here's where we get to some interesting things. Corzin, you're the captain.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start this with you. Roll a d10.
A D10, okay.
Oh no.
8.
8. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you for some more rolls. Please roll
Okay.
me a d6.
I don't like it.
D6.
It's like in My Little Pony, it's exploding dice, but it's backwards. That's what it is, it's nothing sinister.
4.
Okay. d20.
D20, okay.
That's so ominous.
6.
Many.
Okay. So, but the day comes round to the 25th of the month of Falling Blossom. It's a midday, that being the 5th day of the week, and there is and the crew have been working again with there are still rifts and difficulties as the crew gets to know each other, further heightened by the racial tensions between them. But
I step in to anyone being racist. I'm deeply annoying about it.
make an insight check.
Okay. It's not much. Like a 10?
You step into the obvious cases that you see, but there's a lot that you don't see. And
Oh
there's a
yeah,
lot
I'm not
that
everywhere.
and there's a lot that goes beneath the surface. So the 25th is actually a holiday. It's St. Zeem's Day.
Okay.
Classically, it's a traditional spring festival, and usually is the day of the season. Is usually this kind of day of the 3 previous months for collecting tax and rent and so on if you're on land. But Belle has made up some little pastries from the oven to celebrate the day. It is, as days go, it's a chill day. Actually, there's not much, but there's not really any rain. It's there's no rain. It's a couple of clouds in the sky, But there are some very strong winds, which you're able to take advantage of. Strong enough that, Scamp, you're actually able to take a bit of a day off from your usual sustained wind duties, allowing you to engage in some of the festivities. And, there is a kind of positive, cheerful sort of atmosphere as well.
I'll play some songs.
Yes, you do.
It's fun.
You provide a little bit of amusement. I would like everyone to roll me a perception check, please.
Okay.
Excellent.
Oh, 6.
Oh. 13.
21.
Corzin, with a 21, you actually spot it before the lookout does. But just in the distance, you spy the white of a sail. By this point, you're kind of going along not far from Osirian waters, and you do, and kind of taking up the spyglass, you peer.
Yeah, breaking out the spyglass on that.
You peer out. It looks to be a fifth-rate frigate in the distance. It's
similar to us.
Pretty similar to yours. It's kitted out for war. It's flying the purple slashed colours of a Borden ship. So those would be the sail. Those are from the city of the sort of city-state of Border in the Tyrian states. Mm-hmm. The kind of plutocratic one that you heard about.
What is plutocratic?
Ruled by the rich.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a merchant republic.
Boo.
Boo! What are we booing? Boo!
Boo. I don't know, I just felt like it. Sometimes you just gotta boo.
I understand. I'm in support.
Belle looks sadly down at the pastries and moves away with them to other people.
Oh no!
No, I want pastry. I'm sorry, Belle, come back.
Oh. Does she come back?
She eventually does another pass round and provides you some pastries.
These are the best pastries I have ever eaten.
They're really nice.
They're quite nice.
We were booing something else, I'm sorry.
They're not quite as good as when they were fresh out of the oven, but they're still pretty good. That said, I'm just going to roll a check for the captain of the other ship. So here is an important question. What colours are you flying?
Ooh. That is an
Our
important question.
sails have got krakens on.
Yeah.
But you also fly signalling colours as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It would. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but it would usually be what you were either flying from either the top of the main mast or the spinnaker out the front, just to denote what country or territory you belong to.
Yeah, you kind of signal your nationality, your allegiances, and potentially what type of ship you are. It's if you're sailing in friendly waters, it's a good. It can actually serve as a pretty effective deterrent to, say, pirates and so on. And if you're sailing in potentially not as friendly waters, it can be a good way of indicating we are neutral in your current conflict.
Right. Would I know if Border has any affiliations with Ossyria?
You know that they are different nations, but the shifting web of diplomacy can change. So roll me a history check to kind of see what you kind of picked up by osmosis during your time spent in the courts of justice.
Ooh, not great. That's 9.
You don't know what the current state of diplomacy is between Border and Ossyria. You know that the Borden are very mercenary people, and there are certainly Borden privateers who will take contractual pay with different nations, but you don't. There's no real way to tell whether this one is actually a Borden ship. Is actually
a
in the
question.
Yes.
Our letter of marque, what we have.
Yes.
Would it mean if we nick things off them, it would be illegal or not?
Because you do know that, to the best of your knowledge, Border is not currently in a state of war with Sul. Sul is currently in a state of war with Orsiria, Brighthall, Meadmere, and Wending. It is not.
Like everywhere else.
So yeah, it is not in a state of war with, say, Feroz, Cairnon, or most of the Tyrian states, or Thrine. So you could attack. So if you saw, for instance, a fat Borden merchant ship, and there are a great number of them, they would make a tempting prize, but you would not be under the protection of your privateers.
So we would be pirates if we did.
That would count as piracy. And privateering...
No, just worth knowing.
Privateering
No,
licenses
very much so.
only last until your country of origin catches you violating them and engaging in piracy.
Well, given where the ship was constructed, it would make sense that we're flying Sulian colours.
Yeah. It is... I mean, the fact is, your privateers and maybe pirates, it's really easy to get hold of coloured flags, so you can change your apparent allegiance.
Can we assume we have
almost
a
at
few?
will.
Is that allowed?
Sorry?
Can we assume we have a few different colours? Is that allowed?
Again, you are privateers and potentially pirates. I took it as standard.
Yeah.
You have many signalling flags.
Yeah.
Flying false colours is absolutely a crime, but you have them locked away just to be safe.
Only if they catch you.
Yeah.
But you are registered as a Sulian ship.
Right.
And we've just come from there, so I guess that's what we'd be doing.
Yeah.
Okay. That ship either doesn't seem to have noticed you or doesn't care about you. If you wanted, you could signal them, approach them, or you can just sail merrily on your way. Or if you really wanted, you could try and take on a warship and, I don't know, capture it.
Maybe not the best thing to test ourselves against first.
I'm going to ask Celestia if she can scry their hold.
I can try, darling. Do you want me to?
It'll at least,
You'll make a decision, won't it?
it'll answer some questions as to whether or not they're worth doing anything with.
Okay.
Alright,
Yeah, you can scry a location.
show me the hold of that ship over there.
Spend 10 minutes focusing in. No bubbles. Come back up.
Sanctum, darling.
Ooh.
Now that's interesting.
Might be important.
Because,
This is a ship armed for war, I will note.
yeah.
I mean, they are armed to the fucking teeth, darling.
Yeah.
If they're a warship, I mean, that makes sense that they'd be sanctumed if they're having secret general conversations and all that. Doesn't necessarily mean they've got a lot of treasure. Why would you on a warship?
No, it's true.
Yeah, it'd only really be valuable, like, to take the ship, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you did take it, it would be a fine ship of the line. But there may be other opportunities to take ships if you want to.
Do we want to have our first fight against a fully armed warship? Because that sounds
Of a nation
scary
you are
to
not
me.
at war with.
Yeah. Of a nation we are not at war with. As well.
Pass.
Pass from me.
But it's up to you, obviously. Your ship.
For the moment, just keep an eye on them. If they change course, let me know.
Okay, you carry on past. Time, again, passes. You move days
Are we there yet?
further
No, we're not fucking there yet. Shut up.
on into first.
Can I practice fire breathing?
Yes. Using your...
Can I do that?
Yeah, using your pots of oil that you've bought, you spend some time in this incredibly flammable environment, thanks to your ability to prestidigitate small fires.
I also can put them out really
Yeah.
easily.
And practice fire breathing. Give me a performance check.
It's good. 24.
Okay, you've made significant. You make
Nice.
significant progress in your fire
I'm going to
breathing.
keep doing it the whole time we're going.
Okay.
There's a small thing, actually, after that.
Yeah.
What is it, Sam?
Corzin, during one of these days, is going to go to one of the gunnels of the ship, take a quiet moment. He is going to reach into the breast pocket of his waistcoat, take out 2 envelopes and burn them both, dropping them over the side.
Oh.
I've looked forward to being able to do that for a very long time.
Oh.
The crisping, burning pieces fall into the water and pass away with the tide.
I believe Jason knows what was contained within those letters.
know what
The
was in
rest of
those.
you
I
shall
think-
find out after the end of the campaign.
I think you told me in character, unless they're different letters, I think you told me that they were for if you died while you were away.
That is exactly what they are. Celestia would recognise them as that's what they are, but what I will say is those letters were actually written.
Oh, adorable. Yeah, those are released for after the campaign.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep them on file somewhere.
Oh no, trust me, they are.
Oh.
There is... Okay. Sorry, continue.
That's it.
Okay. Time continues to pass, day by day, proceeding along the high seas. You move on past the edge of Ossyria and begin to go along, thinking about where the path you would take. You would take a path down across the western coast of Sanostal. It's an unusual island. I say island. It's half the size. It's about a third of the size of Jova. It's much larger than Ossyria, and you're kind of vaguely aware that a lot of it is Ossyrian colonized or controlled. There's long been a rivalry between those two islands, and it is classically almost the stepping stone onto the westernmost tip of Haldanos. However, you have you are on a direct journey, and you have supplies stacked up well ahead, so you continue your journey on. Come about the 4th, I believe, of first fruits, another event comes to pass. Each of you roll me an insight check, please.
Okay.
I'm not rolling well today. Oh, that would be a 6.
Also a 6.
16.
Scamp.
Or possibly
You
15, actually.
are the first to become aware of the grumbling that grows into a shouting. There is a... So you come down to you turn around from where you were going next. I'll say it was towards the end of your shift, so you're heading on to take a break, when you hear an argument from within the within the galley. It seems that there is some sort of heated voices going on between members of the crew, not officers, just ordinary members of the crew. So you see a burly human man, he is bald. And tends to wear a kind of red sort of skull cap type bandana to cover it. And he is presently at one side of a table while there is a degree of grumbling going on. He's on one side of a table with a bunch of other humans and some halflings, while on the opposite side of the table, rather... kind of standing and looking aloof, you see one of the spider tieflings with a kind of... It's hard to read their expressions, but they seem a little disdainful. And Auden is calling out, "Look, I know it was one of you lot who took it. I don't want to get in a fight with someone with as many arms as you, but you better give me back my lucky bloody rabbit's foot." "I
Hello.
did not take your rabbit's foot."
Alright.
I'll say,
Hello.
yeah, Scamp, you get there first. You can kind of wave the others over if you see
Oh, yeah,
them.
Scamp.
Yeah,
Definitely
Corzin
saw
Scamp.
him first. Yeah,
Scamp.
sorry.
I mean, if there's something happening, I
Yeah.
will send a message and hope that it's in the right direction.
Yeah, you kind of send off a few scattered messages, and I'll say both of you get something.
Yeah, but Scamp definitely gets there
Yes,
first.
but Scamp, you are on site first. Yeah. So
Let us
What's
know when
going
we're
on here?
the the tiefling turns to you. You recognise them as Rakash. They're a blue chitined spider tiefling, and they continue. This person is falsely accusing us of having stolen his creature foot. I did not know. It was my lucky rabbit's foot, and look, it was here when I sat down. It's gone now. It's gotta be, and it's only been you lot and our lot on this shift. It's gotta be one of you lot.
Well, it's very easy to sort out if everyone's willing to go under a truce spell. If you think it's that big a deal. If it's that important to you.
Roll a persuasion check.
Are we here yet?
I'll say it's. I'll say you guys come in about this point. Yeah, sure.
12.
What's happening here?
Yeah, what's going on?
You see,
Someone's lost something. They're worried that someone stole it.
you see the tableau up ahead.
Do they have any evidence that a person might have stolen it, or if they just dropped it out of a pocket and they're blaming people?
The latter,
I don't
but-
much like your tone.
No, I'm just asking. It's a standard question.
Look, I am a man of my word. I've had that man and boy for 14 years, and I would not just let that go loose.
We've all lost things, no judgment.
And it's easy to sort. We put people under a truth spell if they're willing, and if not, then Celestia will go to the sending room, do a little bit of magic, and maybe we can find out what's happened.
Yeah, we definitely can.
Ish.
Seems to calm down a bit.
I mean, what is it you've lost exactly?
Well, lucky rabbit's foot.
Rabbit's foot.
Well, why don't we, before we do
I
anything, just
and
have to
also
look around?
all of my
Just-
coins.
To throw this out there.
But it's the
All
fuck
your
there.
coins.
I didn't...
Yeah, I keep them in my coin purse.
Throw this out there. I'm from the Underdark, as are these people over here. I didn't know what a rabbit was until I came up here. Not actually heard of a foot of one being lucky until this exact second. So if you're accusing people of stealing that, don't see why they'd have a reason, to be honest. Because that's just weird if you're from the Underdark. We should do a truth
fans
spell,
for a
though, and
moment.
just check that it's, not
She has
anyone.
a fair point.
Or,
That's,
before we do anything, maybe we just look around in case it is just on the floor and you've missed it.
You see him start. He's already red in the face, but he's kind of gone from like a purple in the face to a more rosy red.
Like pink.
I was going to say, do I believe anything he's saying?
Roll an insight check.
Can I do one as well? Is
Yeah,
that
everyone
okay?
roll an insight check.
Cool.
No, 8. I've no idea.
Natural one, but lucky.
Insert. That is 22.
22. Okay.
21.
21, 22. Okay, first of all, the pair of you... sorry, did you get, Celestia?
8.
Eight.
No idea.
You're a bit distracted. Corzin and Scamp, the pair of you can tell that Alden 100% believes everything he is saying. The tiefling, Rakash, is looking skeptical of... Rakash, by comparison, thinks that Alden seems to... You get the feeling that Rakash believes Alden is just stirring shit. However, since both of you got above a 20... you do notice one of the female halfling sailors, a girl by the name of Jenny, looking just one glance of the eyes towards the exit before returning her focus.
So maybe the first thing we do is everyone here has a little look around and we see what we can find.
And if anyone finds it in the next couple of minutes, that would be very agreeable, and no questions would be asked.
So let's
Yeah,
all do
job
that
done.
now.
Make okay. Scamp, make an intimidation check.
Can I give them inspiration?
No, because Scamp is one of the ones who's speaking who knows who it is.
Cool.
19.
19. Okay.
Corzin will watch Jenny.
Yeah, there's a bit of awkward moving around as people kind of go and start to search and brush through things. And Corzin, with your passive perception, you notice the moment where Jenny, moving past, just slips a small pouch out from her pocket behind Auden and moves on quickly. And Auden turns around. Picks it up. He's a big man. It's really quite a small person. Pulls it open and winces. Right. Raki, was it? Rakash. Yeah, I owe you an apology. So I apologise. Must have fallen out of my pocket. Very sorry. The tiefling narrows his eyes and there's a kind of proud look, but inclines his head after a moment.
Right, now the two of you shake hands and remember this moment.
There's an awkward moment where both of them, kind of reluctant about it, reach forward and they shake hands. Sorry to trouble you, Captain.
Not a problem at all. Now, carry on.
Right.
I am going to, when it is next convenient, call Jenny to my cabin.
Yeah, next shift over, Jenny does quite slip in, looking slightly ashen-faced.
Okay.
Yes, sir?
Sat down behind his desk, yeah. So, I gather you had a moment of conscience earlier today.
There's a moment where you kind of see her eyes dart and then kind of acknowledge that she's been made. Yes, sir.
Very well.
Sorry, Captain.
Why'd you take it?
It's good luck in it, and what with all the goblins aboard, I thought we'd need all the luck we could get. They bring curses, you know.
Well, far be it from me to dissuade people of their own beliefs, but I never felt that a rabbit's feet were particularly lucky. Certainly wasn't lucky for the rabbit. And, to be honest, if it's the goblins you're worried about, then I think it would be a wise thing for you to actually take some time to actually get to know your comrades here. They're as much part of this crew as anyone else.
I mean, yes.
I understand that maybe you've not come across many of these people before. Maybe there are some long-held beliefs about different types of folk where you come from. But one of the things you get to learn when you've traveled as far as I have is that, you know, people are people almost universally wherever the heck you go. So, because you didn't actually deprive any other crew members of their belongings for any appreciable length of time, I am not on this occasion going to detain you to the brig for 7 days for theft. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to reassign you to the mid-decks, where I believe... I'm just going to consult my notes. I think we have... is it... Zhang? You'll be assisting him moving the ramrods for the gun deck up from the hold.
There's
I'm sure that
visible wince. Yes, Captain.
I'm sure that Alton, Triss, and Winnie will be very appreciative of this. Now, dismissed.
She nods and hurries away. Okay. Your time continues on. You curl around the edge. And at this point, let's see where you are in time. Celestia, you're kind of, as it rolls past the 10th of of first fruits, you look at, you've been casually smoking, a couple of pipes every day, just a standard dose.
Yeah.
You kind of look at the bricks you have and realise you've got about 2 weeks left of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just at the point where you're about to enter the open ocean as well. It's just a moment that you realise.
Have I started to become aware that I'm addicted to any capacity?
You are
like
aware that you are
how
using it
working?
a lot, is what I've said. You've not experienced any withdrawal because you've not stopped.
Not stopped, yeah.
But you have a growing awareness that you're using this to sleep, and you're worried about about the nightmares coming back when you run out. You're not the only opium smoker aboard the ship, although roll an insight check.
Yeah. 17.
You are the most consistent opium smoker aboard ship.
I'm maybe the only addict aboard. Yeah.
There are a small number of the goblins. There are a handful of halflings. One of the tieflings from Kion has taken an interest in the occasional recreational pipe, and there is there are probably about, I want to say, 14, 15 opium smokers on board the ship. Most of them dealing with chronic pain issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are smoking the most out of all of them.
That's very bad. Oh dear. I'm trying to think if I would do anything.
I would like you to roll a d10 for me, please.
A D10. 10. Oh no! What? What is it?
I would like you to roll a d6 for me, please.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a rainbow D6.
No.
5.
5. Okay,
Oh god.
that's all for now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he
What do
making
you
a
mean
face?
that's all for now?
That's all for now.
Jesus. Okay.
He's making a face, isn't he? I can't see it, I can hear it.
He's making a face. He's making a face. It's a face. A face is happening. I don't like it. I'm trying to work out if I would do anything about having 2 weeks of opium left. No, I think I'd leave it later than that to
you
try
leave
and
it
do
later than
anything.
that. Fair
I
enough.
think, yeah.
Just so you're aware, listeners, this episode is random events episode. So I have a table which I've written up, and we're rolling on it.
I'm here for it.
I like it. It's good.
So here for it.
Yeah.
10 is an interesting number to roll.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Time passes day by day. The everyday business of the crew continues. With your careful dealing with the issue, I rolled for it, you did not lose any morale as a result of the accusations of theft. And again, slowly over time, there is a continuing development of people working together. As you move beyond Sanistol, though, the last sight of coastline for a long time goes off the horizon. You are now in deep, open water, crossing the Choleric Ocean. One night, and I almost want you. Yeah, I had you do it last time, so Celestia, roll me a luck check
Okay.
for how bad this is.
Oh.
18.
Okay.
It's a decent luck check.
It is a decent luck check. So, it is not the full moon.
Oh, God.
Come the 14th of first fruits, the night before canal. It comes the 14th of first fruits. It is the night before the 3 nights that will circle that will constitute the full moon. Mm-hmm. Belle is busy doing a great deal of cooking, preparing for the 3 days ahead. The rest of you are busy about your shifts. I'd like each of you to roll me a d6, and I'll just see whether you're on shift or not.
6.
Okay.
1.
Okay.
5.
Celestia and Corzin, you are actually on rest, but like you are like it. You have this is the portion of your shift where you get to sleep.
Okay.
Scamp, you are on duty. Just happens to be how the shifts have fallen. So you are up on the surface. Over the course of the evening, after the sun sets, the winds die down to a gentle breeze. And although you have now come into summer, it is a chill night, cool. The breeze is cold against your skin as you work about your duties. It is a low breeze, but you can, you don't need to be maintaining. I'm assuming that now that you're on the general journey, you're not just doing sustained
Full wind spells,
unless you're in a completely becalmed day, because you're retaining other uses of your spells just in case. Is that right?
I think I'd probably do 1 a day.
You would do 1 a day. Okay, then.
Yeah.
Would you say you'd have done it earlier in the day or on this shift? Because you have kind of 2 shifts in a day.
I think it'll depend on the weather.
Okay. We'll say then, it is growing calm. The breeze is very light and the ship is moving the ship is, it's not stuck, but it is moving a little slower than it otherwise would be. And you watch as with the sun over the horizon, there is a gentle frost that starts to rime up the edges of the ship in places. It is a chill night. There are clouds thick overhead, making it difficult to see the stars. You're kind of working by clock and by chart to keep on course for the day. And with the cold, there's still a certain amount of moisture, not enough to rain, but a bank of sea fog is now drifting in just towards
this
you.
This is a good time to be using it
over the horizon.
It would keep a bit of it clear around the ship.
Okay. You sit back in your mage's chair, mark off the spell as you create the gust of wind. Now, the gust of wind that you create is very directional. It's angled in such a way as to hit all of the sails and to give you a boost of speed. So you are moving. So you're essentially moving, I believe, if I remember my own rules correctly, well above your travelling speed of 8 knots. You are moving at 12 knots. Sorry, not 12. At 10 knots. So 10 miles per hour.
Nice.
Or 100 feet per round across the water. It's as if you were taking advantage of the best winds you could. So you can keep that up for 4 hours. Yeah. But it does require you to kind of remain in place.
Oh, ships are not fast, are they? I pictured them faster than that. I don't know why.
Ships travel great distances because a ship moves all 24 hours.
Ah, that's what it is.
So over the course of a day, you will move 240 miles at this speed,
which is like a lot. Yeah, no, fair
your
enough.
Your travel speed is 192 miles a day at 8 knots. A general travel speed of 8 knots. Cool. So you do make quite a lot of distance in a day. It's just that you are moving thousands of miles to get to Sunder.
Yeah, cool.
So, okay. So this is where things. So yeah, you're moving forwards, but the sea fog is getting closer because you're kind of sailing through the sea fog now, sailing into it.
Is the crow's nest above it, or is it all around us?
Scamp, make a nature check. I want to see just to try and judge the height of the fog.
13.
13. Okay. I'll say that Salts or one of her crew, or one of, I'll say Salts is on duty. So, if you want to make that check as if your nature check was +7, you can.
Ooh.
That makes a big difference. That makes it a 19.
19. It's a high fog. Yeah, it goes up 200 feet. It'll cover up to the crow's nest.
Wow.
Does it feel natural?
Pepper frowns as you kind of. I'm assuming you asked Pepper that directly as she comments that, asking you a question.
Is this doable?
It's a bit odd. Certainly a bit of quite a bad cold snap for the start of summer. I mean, not entirely.
Frost, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, we are getting closer to the equator now. We're still kind of in a temperate zone.
I don't understand what that means.
It gets warmer around the middle of Calcinea than it does around the tops.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, depends what season, but right now it should be making... Things should generally be a bit warmer than this. And it is icy cold. The fog bank draws closer. It's very difficult to see things within it. We should be able to... I mean, it's just fog. We should be able to keep going, but...
Maybe it's worth waking the captain.
Not a bad
It's
idea.
getting nasty. And could you give Celestia a kick as well? I mean, wake her, not literally kick. That would... Although...
She looks over. Oi! Zhang! Go wake up the captain and the chantyman. Zhang, a little green yellow skinned goblin with beady brown eyes and kind of a sailor's open vest, nods and just scampers downstairs. Celestia, you are... He took the instruction literally.
Do I have a cabin? I think I would, wouldn't I? Because I'm an officer.
Yeah,
you would. You're an officer.
You're an officer, so you get a tucked away little cabin.
Yeah,
you get
a little tiny one.
You get a kick on your door, waking you up.
What is it?
You kind of wake out of a sort of those somewhat pleasant, not really
slightly colourful, not real dreams that you get with opium.
Not real dreams that you get with opium, and you hear a sharp voice call out, "Ship's mate wants you upstairs."
Okay, I'm coming.
And again, there is a more respectful knock on your door, Corzin.
What sort of time of day is it?
It is evening. You are past sunset. I'd say you're started. It's around about 11 at night.
Mm-hmm. But we might have been asleep a while.
90% of the reason I asked that question is whether or not it was past little Corzin's bedtime.
It is past little Corzin's bedtime. He is asleep.
Right. Okay. So yeah, he will open the door. Zheng, what is it?
Ship's mate wants you upstairs. Something weird about fog. Zhang shrugs.
All right, on my way.
Returns to his post.
He'll pull in his irregular clothes.
You run into a slightly ruffled, hastily put together Celestia on your way up.
You two up?
Yeah.
Right, let's see what Scamp has for us. Oh. Well, that's unusual.
Again, not familiar with weather, but that is a lot of fog, isn't it?
Yeah, it's utterly wrong for this time of year.
Yeah, it was warm a minute ago, wasn't it?
It should be. We're getting closer to the equator.
Hello. Fog's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Is this like magic fog?
I mean, I could take 10 minutes to find out. We'll lose the wind,
Worth
though.
it. Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because if this is magic fog, we need to know about it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay.
I mean, it could just be something random and natural, but...
Or it could be that a ship is following us and they have somebody who can do like a spell that makes fog.
I've heard of such things.
If the fog was conjured, would I know, or would I have to actually see the spell casting and detect magic?
To tell if it's conjured. I mean, yeah, if you were to say, if say someone did a stinking cloud spell and you looked at it through detect magic, you would tell that the cloud itself was conjured.
Okay, cool. So we'll go with fog.
Cool. So it's worth doing.
Yeah. So it's not detect magic is not concentration, is it?
But a ritual that feels like it'll drop the concentration on.
A ritual is sustained spellcasting, but because you can cast other spells while you're concentrating on an existing spell, I'll say it doesn't. It does.
Okay.
You kind of can't move from the spot, but you could move from the spot anyway because you're kind of having. So I'll say that it projects from your chest almost. So you're kind of having to like angle yourself a little carefully.
This is messing with my drawings.
Kind of drawing underneath you very carefully. I mean, it doesn't have to project from your chest. You can transfer the spell to project from one hand, keep it angled at the mast, and continue.
Yep, it's coming out my bum. And
Okay,
I'm turn
coming out
around.
your bum.
This is an image.
Several, as the loud sound accompanies it, several crew members glance over. You are That's it. You are now clipping through the up to the fog at a very sensible speed, and you actually enter a little bit into it.
Does it? Sorry, carry on.
No, it's fine. As you complete the ritual, focusing, your eyes shift perspective. It's faint. It's very faint, but there is something to this around you. It's kind of hard to tell what exactly. You focus for a moment trying to discern the specific school of magic. You almost want to say transmutational?
Magic fog.
Ah, shit.
But it is very, very faint. It's like it's spread throughout the fog.
Like person-made magic fog? Could there be somebody following us? Should I pop up the crow's nest and have a look?
I mean, it could be a person, it could be a creature, but it is like someone made this fog. Something made this fog.
I mean, if we're going to be boarded by anything, I do have some good news in that I can make that quite hard now.
Oh, very good.
That's exciting.
I hope it won't come to that, but that's a point.
At least I think I can make it quite hard. I think I understand how to do a thing.
The thing you do, Corzin, can you do it here to see if there's creatures nearby?
Should be able to. Also, gather the senior officers. Would Corzin know if this is a known tactic by any navy or organisation on the high seas?
Ooh, roll me a history check.
Because
really
this
wanna
does
see
seem
how-
like a very premeditated thing.
I have something super
Okay.
weird I want to do, and he's done.
I'll say
That's,
you gather the rest of the
13.
crew at the same of the club. 13. I actually want you to roll an Arcana check as well after that.
Okay.
You specifically.
9.
To the best of your
his
knowledge,
best.
this would be a fantastic tool to use, but weather control on this level is the sort of thing you've read about in like the scripture. It's not something that modern militaries can do. It is beyond, to the best of your knowledge, it's presumably beyond the cusp of arcane magic, because otherwise they'd be doing it.
Okay, this is, religious level, or for lack of a better term, biblical proportions of magic, that is in fact.
Yeah, I want to do something really strange. I want to cast Detect Thoughts and have a wander up
Okay.
and down the ship into the fog. Just give me a minute. I'm going to do a thing, see if I hear anything.
Okay, you focus on trying to sense any mines in the fog. What's the
Yeah.
range? 30 feet?
Give me a sec. Yeah, 30 feet, but I'm going to wander up and down
Okay.
as far as I
Focusing
can
through,
in that
with
minute.
30 foot of range, you are able. That actually will cover the entire vertical range of the lower decks of the ship as well.
Yeah.
So you do sense mines below you, but they're all kind of in the positions you would expect.
Unlike sailory
Yeah,
mines,
and
yeah.
anyone you can physically see, again, matches up to what you've come to expect from the sailors.
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously I don't listen to anyone's thoughts.
No,
I
but
literally
you
just want to check if there's... I want to check if there's anything from the fog, basically.
Yeah, using the ability to sense through. You don't really detect anything on the ship or right by it that you can tell. That said, I'll say Corzin. Representing you and the lookout. So I would like you to make... You don't currently have a positive crew quality, so you don't get a bonus to this. I would just like you to make a perception check. Although I think, Celestia, you can as well separately, because you're also looking.
Is that alright?
Yes.
Perception, okay.
9.
21.
Oh, good.
Okay. 21.
There is another thing I was going to do, but this
Okay,
first.
okay. Peering through, so the fog, with thick sea fog around you, your visibility would be cut to a mile around you during the day. It is night.
Yeah.
You have half a mile, so about 3,000 feet of visibility. You don't see anything through the fog, but I have kept those perception checks for the next period that you are sailing, and you are cutting through at a fair clip through this fog.
All right, I am going to do primeval awareness.
Okay. You touch you touch the deck of the ship and pulse. As ever, roaring of the tide. You also have the lizard and greed scent of dragon, as expected. I'm trying to think of anything else that would be... Scamp,
Yes.
what type of entity flavour did you pick for Marjorie? Because I believe you can pick your familiar to be fiendish or fey or something else.
I think instinctively I'd have gone fey rather than fiendish.
You get that,
but I don't think I'm really aware of it.
Yeah, you get a strange sort of floral, ethereal scent that you kind of associated with the time you were tracking Olga. But you also feel, within 6 miles of you, cold. The cold dark of death. And you can tell that this is within 6 miles and not 1 mile. It feels like undeath.
All right then.
I told you 10 was an interesting roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to Corzin and Scamp. I didn't hear any thoughts from it, so I don't think it's alive or anything. I know that's a weird thing to check for, but we've seen some weird shit.
Yep,
so...
The fog does not appear to be alive.
Okay, that's reassuring.
A little bit.
I've got undead.
Oh, what, from your touchy floor hand thing?
Like, close by? Like, the fog's undead or something's in the fog?
Within 6 miles.
Okay.
And this is open sea.
Good to know. I mean, I could...
If it weren't for the fog, we'd see 6 miles, even at night.
Yeah, I mean, I could have a scry.
Do it.
I don't know what I'd say. Show me the nearest undead entity? Is that too inspecific? I'm looking at the DM.
Do we think it's the thing making the fog?
Might be too inspecific.
Let me just check the wording of the spell, because, like...
I don't actually have a card.
No,
for that,
it's fine. I've got it. I've
scrying,
got it for it. Seems a particular creature that you choose that is the same...
It might be too general. It's up to you if it is.
Because that will, like, that sort of wording will definitely work with past future stuff, but because of the way that I've worded for that. However,
it's not a tracking spell.
It's not a tracking spell. You need to have an idea of a specific target.
I need to have an idea what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you need to have an idea of what you're looking for.
Celestia kind of thinks for a second.
So, like if you knew that, say, Bloodbeard Brandy was somewhere, over there, you go like, show me Bloodbeard Brandy, or show me the pirate with the big red beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show me the captain of that ship. Yeah.
You need more of an identifier.
Celestia kind of offers to scry and thinks for a second. No, hang on, I don't know what we're looking for. I can't. It could be anything, you know.
The individual that made the fog. Is that
would
too
that
vague
work?
Still?
Ooh, I guess I'd allow it, but I would give that individual, if they exist, advantage on their roll to resist, because it's just woolly enough that you'd have difficulty.
What about if we did a past? Show me.
Yeah, that would work, because
I've
I've established the ruling on how that works. So
I don't want to be cheeky though.
No. It's a loophole. It's a loophole that costs you a tick, but it is a loophole.
Oh, it is. It does cause me shit. I could look at the fog being made.
Well, it doesn't look like it was made that long ago.
Exactly. I would be out of action for 20 minutes, but things take a long time to get to you when you're on a ship, we hope.
Alright, worth the risk, do it.
I'll pop down, I'll see you in a minute. I should probably take somebody with me, because we've established that's important.
Yep.
Alright.
You can...
Scamp, we'll keep an eye up here, you go with her.
Okay.
I give you my weapons.
Scamp, if you leave your chair, you leave your chair, you cannot sustain. Well, I mean, you can sustain wind. It's just you'll be blowing people down the corridors of the ship.
Yeah, I don't think
you have
all
crew.
this wind is good.
I could take somebody like Alton.
Yeah. Could you?
All right then.
Could you ask him to keep one hand on the wall? Then I can message if need be.
Oh, of the scrying room. You are correct.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I'll say you pull Alton from his post because he's someone you trust. Like, right, sure thing.
He's the person that I don't think will go around telling everyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
he runs into the scrying room with you, keeps a hand on the wall.
Super weird, but just have all my weapons. If I start talking funny, get someone.
Right,
probably won't
fair.
happen, but yeah, also I'm going to be out of it for 20 minutes, so just keep an eye.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Show me... Oh my god, how do I word the sentence? Give me a second. Show me when the individual who made this fog made it.
At the point at which you go into this, by the way, it is about 20 minutes past 11 because of the time that's passed casting detect magic, looking around, searching for things. So when you emerge after starting to cast, it will be 40 minutes past 11. It will be
11:40.
Cool. So you focus in, and as we've established, there's no resistance to these.
7 past now, by the way, just for you.
7 past.
Yeah.
Thank you. You descend down, and it's very shallow. Almost immediately, the bubble comes to you, and there's a moment where you have to blink as you're just standing amidst the mist, and it's weird. It's actually, it's very weird because there's cloud above. You know there's cloud above. It's a dark day. The light has been from oil lanterns on the ship illuminating your work. There is a very dim amount of reflected moonlight that kind of makes its way through the clouds to illuminate the ship above, especially through the fog because it's very thick. But it is almost, but not quite, a full moon.
Yeah.
But in this fog, you feel as if you're in direct moonlight.
Ooh.
You look down, and your skin is your clothes are shining with silvery moonlight, and you look down, and so is the deck. No, the deck almost feels like it is moonlight. You look around. You're on a wooden ship. A frigate, from the looks of it, not a little different to the Kraken's Bane, older in design, not kitted out quite the same way, and there are sailors who are running about the ship, dealing with the rigging and so on. Mixture of humans and halflings by the looks of it, but you can see through them. You can see through the ship. You can see the fog all around you. And you see, standing at the ship's wheel, is a what seems to be a broad-shouldered orc. There's a few half-orcs amongst the crew, actually. A broad-shouldered orc with a wide hat and a feather on it. But he is, again, you can see through him. As you look up, you see that where his eyes should be, there are just two dark voids that you feel like you could stare into forever.
I mean, are these ghosts? Do I know what these
Roll
are?
an Arcana check.
It's a ghost ship, it's a ghost ship, it's a ghost ship.
But genuinely, like, in Calcinea, do I know?
Roll an Arcana check.
Oh,
So I'm getting very excited over it.
not great. I mean, I assume Celestia knows what ghosts are.
I mean, this is for more specific information, potentially.
9, so it's not good.
This reminds you strongly of when you saw whatever you saw that over the grave of of Corzin's team member, Revi the Unsightly.
Yeah.
This reminds you strongly of that.
Oh, we've actually seen a ghost.
Yeah,
that was so long ago.
It's been a long time with
Jesus.
everything else that's happened, but you have seen, you think, these creatures before. This appears to be a crew. A crew.
Does the ship look like a ghost?
The ship also has you can't see through the ship. You can't see through the ship, but it is covered in the same moonlight that doesn't seem to have a source as everything else.
Is anybody making the fog?
The fog just seems to follow the ship, but you watch as the captain raises a spyglass, seems to spot something, raises his hand and makes a fist, and the fog intensifies around the ship. You watch as tendrils begin to spread outwards. You can't see where the fog is going because you're in the centre of the fog, but you kind of get the feeling that the fog is growing outwards from this point now.
As soon as he sent the fog, I'm actually going to leave.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I can get any more useful information. I don't want to stay for the full 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I
no.
want to go.
Okay, so I'll say that it's taken you 2 minutes, so you get up at 11:32.
It takes me 10 to cast it, so...
I know, it took you 10 to cast it, so you've been here for 12 minutes.
D20.
But roll me a D20.
No. 10. I think I'm alright.
You're fine.
That was horrifying.
You emerge back in the scrying room. In the sending chamber.
Right, we need to go to the captain right now.
I was going to say, is everything alright? But clearly not. Come on.
Nope, let's go.
You go up, I'll get down to my post just in case.
Great, please do.
You run up.
I don't tell him because it feels bad to tell anyone else first.
The mist is chill, and it is chill around you. Ice is covering every surface. It's starting to form on the edges of your clothes.
Would, by the way, if we're being fair, be 11:42 because it takes me 10 minutes to cast.
No. You got down there at 11:20.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I thought I got down there at 11:30. I apologise. My maths is not working. So I basically just grab Corzin and Scamp. So we have a ghost ship. That's a ghost ship. It's a ship full of ghosts.
A ghost ship?
No.
Yep, and I think they sent the fog towards us. I don't know what you do about ghost ships.
Right.
Well,
They look like Revi.
They stabbed the ghosts.
Should I make it hard for them to board us just in case that happens?
Yes.
Great.
Does silver work on ghosts? Is that a thing?
Roll an Arcana check.
Can I start casting my spell, please?
Yes,
like
you do.
immediately.
You do.
We've discussed that I can cover.
Natural 20.
With a natural 20. To the best of your ability, no. From your experiences fighting Revi, you do know that Revi you'd guess that Revi was probably, or something like her, would not be particularly affected by a lot of things, especially by magical attacks and so on. But she was, and especially nothing that would harm the body, like necrotic power or poison. But you do remember that Corzin's physical attacks did have some effect, just not a lot of effect. Ordinary weapons might not be completely useless.
Holy water. Does that help?
You would imagine that it does because you know it helped with the shadows and so on.
Cool.
And and you know for a fact that holy water does produce radiant damage affecting undead creatures, and these are definitely undead creatures. That's a lot of what you know. You know that things like that. You do believe that magical weapons like death and so on will touch a ghost ordinarily, though. If indeed these are ghosts.
For spell.
Yep.
It takes 10 minutes to cast, just so that you're aware.
So you'll be done by around 11:45.
Yeah, I would just like to ask how much of the ship I can do. I can do 2,500 square feet.
So we've established previously that the deck area of the ship is 5,320 square feet, so you can do half of the ship. The deck of the ship. You can cover all of the hold, so all of the decks below. Will be covered by the spell. That's not a worry. I'll say that you can kind of cover the bottom parts of the masts as well a little bit.
What about Little Corzin's room?
Little Corzin's room is at the front of the ship with the what's it called? Where the forecastle is.
Would that also be covered, or like
it
how does this
depends
work?
Where you want to put it. So I believe the area has to be contiguous.
No, it doesn't.
It does not.
It says it can be one big 50-foot square, 100 5-foot squares, or 25 10-foot squares, and I don't think they have to join up.
They don't have to join up.
Says.
Cool, and they're all 20
It doesn't
foot high.
say they have to join up, and
No,
they're all
that's
20
fine.
foot
If
high.
it does
so I
not say they have to join up, you can get Little
do it in
Corzin's room
bits.
individually. Yes. So you can kind of... if you really wanted, I guess what you could do is you could miss out the centre of the ship and just do the exteriors then, with the way that sounds described.
I don't know what that means.
So you can do all the points that would require someone to cross if they were going into the ship from the outside, provided that they do not fly or fall from directly above onto the centre of the deck.
That's really useful.
Would that work though? Because it's all corridors and doors. And stairs.
The sides of the ship, do you mean?
Yes.
No, but I mean the spell. It works on corridors, doors, and stairs.
Corridors, doors, and stairs. So you can only...
And the area in general. Basically, corridors, fog fills them. Mm-hmm. The doors are magically locked as if by arcane lock, and stairs, web fills the stairs from top to bottom, like in a web spell.
Let me just double check, because this is the first time we've used this.
You can also do a load of other effects, which I will decide, basically.
Okay, those are the, I will say that... Okay, a lot of these will affect more stuff that is below decks, I'll acknowledge, rather than above decks. With what you have, I will say that since you've had you've had a month to study through and decide this, I will say that because you can split it up, you can protect all of the stairwells, all of the branching points and junctions inside the ship that you would need to go through.
Confusing direction
you can
thing as
completely
well.
protect Corzin Jr. And the front, and actually just the captain's cabin entirely. Up to 20 feet tall, so you can do... so it will cover the ship. So these are all almost like little chutes going down, covering the entire ship vertically in the square footage that you choose. So the lower decks beneath these areas are also covered.
Sorry, I know it's complex.
No,
For anyone
fine.
following along at home, it's the Guards and Wards spell.
Cool.
Which is very, very big.
Corridors mostly will affect... So corridors affect... fog effect, I will say, will affect anyone going below decks. It can't really affect above decks.
That's fine, because it's an open space. That makes sense.
Doors can absolutely affect things like the hatch. The hatches leading down, the
Can
doors in the ship.
stairs do, like, ladders, or, like...
I will say that stairs will affect rigging that is on the lower part of the ship. So
Cool.
you can affect rigging, you can affect attempts to climb masts. That sort of masts.
That would be lovely.
That sort of thing. Because the way you spread it
So
out.
where exactly is, like, what... I'm sorry, this is confusing me.
So you have three... So this is three-masted ship.
Yeah.
So you're able to encircle the bottom parts of the three masts. So
that would get the rigging in.
Yeah, you're able to affect some of the rigging coming off the sides based on other places you're placing it. Basically, for the ease of convenience, anything that tries to climb rigging under this spell
Yeah.
is likely to get webbed, provided it is not more than 10 feet above the deck of the ship, because you have limited vertical area to work with and also protect the underside of the ship.
Okay.
Help.
Yeah.
Right. Simplified.
Please simplify.
Okay. Rigging is generally protected.
Yeah.
The crow's nest is not protected.
That's fine. It's too high, yeah.
So things on the crow's nest or upper levels of rigging, or where the sails are, not necessarily
And can
protected.
I get... I mean, I assume there are stairs and or ladders going down to the decks below.
Yes.
Can I get those?
Those all get. Yeah. So all deck
Fabulous.
ladders, all deck doors.
So
all
they
deck
could kind of
junctions.
get onto the ship, but they couldn't really get any further.
Yes.
Cool. That's good to know.
So make a note of this.
So useful.
So all deck hatches, below deck doors, junctions. Doors, junctions, lower rigging, and lower bottom portion of mast is sticky.
Yeah, and just... Frankly, as many doors as I can manage to get. Does it count like trapdoors?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, as many doors as I can manage to get. I would like I can also... So all the doors... So just so that listeners have the effects, so that they know what's happening. Corridors get filled by fog, so they're heavily obscured. Also, there's a confusion effect. At each fork, there's a 50% chance that the creature will believe it's going in the opposite direction, so they never know which way they're going. The doors are all magically locked, as if by an arcane lock spell. I can also cover up to 10 doors with an illusion to look like walls, so I would like to make it look like there's no way to get under the deck.
Yep.
Does that sound sensible to both of
that's
you?
fine.
Out of character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I would like
It's
to...
the dungeon.
What was that?
No door to little Corzin.
Oh yeah, that was the other one that I would like to do. I would like to do just make little Corzin's door into a wall.
Yep.
Yeah, blank wall.
Cool.
Yeah. Also the stairs. So webs fill the stairs from top to bottom. Like with the web spell in the player's handbook.
Yep.
They regrow in 10 minutes if they're burned or torn away, but they keep coming back. I can also...
This lasts for 24 hours.
This lasts for 24 hours, yeah. It's a big spell. It's
Yeah.
a really big spell. It's new since we leveled up before this session, gang.
You end up using a small amount of little ingredients that you procured ahead of time, so you
Yeah.
deduct 10
I'll
gold pieces.
do the interesting description bit in a minute, but just so that we're aware of mechanics. Also, genuinely to run it past the pair of you, I can do any of these effects. I can do dancing lights in full corridors, which probably isn't useful, or I can do a stinking cloud in 2 places. I can do a suggestion in 1 location, or I can... What's the other one? Place a constant gust of wind in 1 room.
You have to choose one of these effects.
Yeah. Do we think
Okay.
2 stinking clouds that'll make them choke? No, they're dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
That probably won't help.
A suggestion over the captain's quarters to leave this room immediately.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably the most helpful, isn't it? I don't imagine they've got a lot of brains on them, so I think they'd be quite susceptible to a suggestion. So how this works is basically, I picture that Celestia gathers up the rainbow spirit. It goes into her eyes and sort of comes out of her hands, like her hands are just glowing, and she just goes around on the ship, touching various surfaces. And basically she specifies that the crew of this ship will not be affected, which is a thing that I can do. I can say a group of people. So anyone who's our crew won't be affected. And basically what you see is little spectral rainbow things stay in certain places.
Every time you touch it, the rainbow spirit pulses into the area and leaves a little bit.
Yeah, on the steps you see spectral see-through rainbow webs.
Yeah.
In any corridor bits you see spectral rainbow fog, which you can completely see through, but you can see that it's sort of a ghost image.
Yeah.
And the doors get a little rainbow line around each of them. And the ones where it's made to look like wall, basically you see the flat wall, but you also see a little ribbon of light, and you see the doorknob in rainbow, so you could still use it, basically. But yeah, it's all like a sort of ghost image in a video game, is how I'm picturing it. And yeah, she kind of basically just runs around the ship like a mad woman, like painting small images in her hand with the rainbow spirit and throwing it out to various places. Like, this process takes 10 minutes, and yeah, there's a lot of running about involved. Like, she literally has to go to each place in my head.
While this is happening, I'm going to have Corzin say, get Molly up here. If this thing's hanging out there, we need our best sharpshooter.
With the rest of the officers gather, Molly is there as well. Yeah. Already out of here. Right. Where do you want me?
Crow's Nest for now.
She nods and makes the
climb. As much early warning as we can.
Yeah, so still runs passing us. Please don't worry about all the rainbow shit. It's on our side. You're fine.
For reference, Molly's perception is +8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I will make
in my head, our crew can see the rainbow stuff. It stays there for them, but anyone else wouldn't be able to.
Just sees what the illusions are. Okay. It is 11:45 when you finish.
Whew.
What's the time?
It's about. You glance at there is actually a ship's clock, which is part of the navigational stuff. But because of where you have to be sat, you kind of have to lean back. And Pepper smiles and says, "It's about 1:45 midnight."
Right, we've got 15 minutes then, don't we? Anyone ever heard a ghost story? It's midnight, isn't it?
Oh, fuck. It's definitely going to happen at fucking midnight, isn't it? Well, they'll fucking struggle,
Mage
hopefully.
Armor! I cast Mage Armor!
Apart from the sort of gust of wind being produced by Scamp, it is completely becalmed.
Why is it so quiet? I hate it.
Corzin is going to ready his ghost touch weapons.
Yeah. Prepare. You get ready. How much? So you've got so the crew, the combat ready members of the crew. I'll assume that you have both sets of Marines up and ready as well.
Yes.
So you watch as the various Gulltown members start to clamber up. They give the dwarf who leads them gives you a bit of a nod and a wink. Talc, shaved head, tattoos. Similarly, Tryla is gently spinning 2 scimitars in 2 wrists. In his other 2 hands, he has a musket prepared.
You know, I think you'll probably be fine against ghosts.
You kind of frown.
They wouldn't have banked on this.
Looks over. Do they have the jinx thing up here?
What?
As in the do not jinx it. Do they have that up here?
Yes. Shut up. Yes,
they do.
Fuck
do
off.
not jinx it.
Yeah, you're right. We'll probably have a terrible time and all be killed. That also feels bad.
Yeah.
Fuck. I beckon to the officers, actually. Like, all of them, preferably.
Yep.
Right, we're ready to fight some fucking ghosts then? I assume we all are. That's what we signed up for, isn't it? I click my fingers, 2 little bursts of rainbow come out. They all get 11 temporary hit points, and can run in a small circle if they wish to.
Yeah, you get a little burst of energy.
Probably won't, I imagine.
Okay.
But I can do it to anyone in range, so I just do it to all the officers.
Cool. All right then.
Excellent.
So you are peering out, watching, keeping an eye. Roll me a perception check. I think Molly's in the crow's nest, so roll me a perception check for Molly, please, Corzin. +8.
Okay. +8. Nice. Oh no, that's 10 total.
She peers, she watches, kind of focused, trying to wait for the moment, wait for when it's likely to come. And she's kind of studying the horizon. What she can make out once there's a moment where I think, can I see something? And taken by surprise, from the opposite side of the ship, you hear the boom of very real-sounding cannons, but they seem to echo weirdly through the mist. And as you turn, you see a flight of cannonballs arc towards the Kraken's Bane.
How big do they count as objects?
Cannonballs, they're not necessarily large objects. I would say that they are... they count as small objects. Like,
Close to things.
So they're not tiny, but they are small for the purposes of things like animate object.
How many of them are there?
Let me see. There are 21, I believe, of those are coming through at this particular point.
God. Glad we went for that hardening thing on the hull.
Yeah.
When they get within 120 feet, can I cast a spell?
I mean, here's the thing. They do take a few seconds to arrive, so I'll say that you have the necessary 6 seconds to cast a spell and kind of hold that last moment until they get close enough. So sure. So
can I cast animate objects?
How many?
10 of them.
How many can you hit? You can hit 10. All right.
I can hit 10 small objects.
They are small objects. So, all right. Well, let's see how many of them would hit. So this is with a plus. Cool. Ooh. Okay. They as they fire into the distance, they are slightly off target. You watch as the armor class is 15 now, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, of the 21, only 5 of them would actually be on target. The rest are just slightly too far, and as they strike, as they come with absolute gut-wrenching terror towards the very edge of your, the very front of the ship, the forecastle, where you know little Corzin is sleeping. 8 of the balls.
No.
You can't arrest their movement entirely. They got too much momentum, but you fling them upwards and away, and they sail past and into the sky.
Was that you?
Missing the edge of the ship.
Yep.
That was fucking brilliant.
And with that,
Okay.
we are now into the gunnery phase.
Ah!
Oh.
Naval combat, naval combat, naval
combat.
combat.
Okay, so
Did we see what side of the ship those
you
came
did,
from?
and as you peer over, you can now see 3,000 feet away, having just entered range, and I will say it is at the stroke of midnight.
Perfect.
You can actually no, it's not the stroke of midnight. It's 10 minutes ahead because
You're early.
well, they've got 10 minutes to get on board if they can. So 3,000 feet away from you, currently parallel because they tend to do a broadside, but turning again to attack. You can see the ghostly, silvery-looking outline of a fifth-rate frigate. You would say from maybe, you want to say it's like 3 or 4 decades old from the in terms of the build. It's a slightly out of date sort of construction, but it is crewed by strange, ghostly figures that you can barely see through the fog. So this one happens. Yeah, actually, I'm going to say roll initiative for the Kraken's Bane using the Kraken's Bane's dexterity, please.
Okay. That's 17.
Okay, so Kraken's Bane goes. The Kraken's Bane kind of. Oh no, sorry, I forgot how this works. You take action simultaneously in this phase. It has been like 80
like 70 Also, I think you've changed
Also,
stuff
you've
since
revised
then.
it a bit
revised
since
it
then.
since then.
So don't worry, this is going to be a bit
Okay,
strange. It's
so-
all good.
The regardless then, I will say though that your guns are loaded. So even as they are turning and getting ready to fire in this first minute, you are able to immediately launch a return shot. They are 3,000 feet away, so if you want to launch it, this will be with a broadside with disadvantage. So I am going to say This time, let's say, let's give Ellie. I want you to be Alton Appleblossom today.
Yay! That's so fun.
So your
perfect.
broadside modifier is +8.
+8 broadside. Yeah.
Okay, so you are pushing. Give me an attack roll with disadvantage.
Okay. I don't feel like Alton Appleblossom uses Celestia dice, so I'm using different ones. That is a 19.
19. That definitely hits.
Yay!
That hits, and it hits.
Oh, sorry, an 18. I do apologise. It was
18.
disadvantage, wasn't it?
Yes.
18. Yes, I rolled 10.
It hits, and almost all of the cannonballs strike on target. You watch in the distances. There is a satisfying crunch as you do what you reckon would be. You do 315 points of damage to the hull. It would be enough to immediately lame most ships. However, this is
a
no
ghost ship.
ordinary ship. You get the feeling as you watch it strike. You get the strange feeling like the damage has been muted somewhat. So you've only done 157 points of damage to it. Still a significant blast though. So that reduces it to 443. There you go. Potentially, assuming it works as the same hulls as yours, which spoiler. So as the broadside strikes true, it's time for you to decide what you want to do next. You can see that the distant ship, the silhouette, is now turning to bear towards you. Looks like they want to advance. What are your plans?
All right. Bring us about hard starboard, and we're going to attempt to put ourselves on a perpendicular trajectory to them.
Okay, so you want to essentially get right up next to them to fire a broadside, or is it? Because you can kind of at this point the decision is: are you trying to sail away? Are you trying to sail towards? Or are you trying to keep distance and periodically turn and broadside at them?
I'm trying to keep distance, but also like they're heading like straight towards us now. I'm trying to go at a right angle to them so we can get another broadside.
Got it. So you're broadly sort of retreating but preparing to broadside. In about 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll say that you're retreating, but the next time you can take the opposite broadside, you will. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. So you curve. You start fleeing. You curve around. They are pretty fast. For a ship which is sailing with no wind, looks as if they're sailing as if they have a fairly constant wind behind them. You, however, have the gale speed of Scamp.
And also we're hella fast, aren't we?
Well,
Oh no!
Without that would be
I
dead.
lost concentration.
You drop it because
I can cast it again depending on.
Yeah. The
how
moment
long
you drop it,
things
the
are.
sails flag. You are utterly becalmed.
It only lasts a minute. One animate objects.
True. So
what are our timescales here?
you are at the scale at which you are operating. You are operating at a minute per turn, per round here, because
So at this point, it's fading.
Yeah, it's fading.
So I might as well
Drop the
recast.
cannonballs harmlessly onto the deck.
They're
We'll
only
shoot 'em
landed,
back at them.
It's all right.
And what do the cannonballs look like? Are they ghostly?
Now that they've been fired, actually, the cannonballs look just kind of like ordinary cannonballs, as far as you can tell.
Oh, how sad. That would have been fun.
Would have been useful.
I will recast Sustained Wind.
Actually, no, you know what? There is still, they look like ordinary cannonballs, but there is just still a faint bit of silvery moonlight to them, I'll say. Just a little bit. So yeah, why not? You've acquired 10 ghost touch cannonballs.
Assuming we're sort of
Nice.
broadly running away but shooting them on the way out. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Great,
That's right.
lovely.
Get these down to the gun deck immediately.
All right. So this. So for every. So essentially, you are able to run for 2 turns each time. They are with Scamp maintaining speed. Your travel speed is
sorcery points.
yeah. Your travel speed is 10 knots versus their 5.5. So you are actually able to gain like 550 feet on them each time.
Wow, that's nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, they were not expecting this. I'll say that the fog kind of lifts a little bit around you, almost. Actually, no, the fog stays still because they have perfect visibility through the fog, even though you don't. So you sail out, twist to the side as they're curving around to meet you, and you fire. Roll an attack roll.
Is that me?
Celestia. Yes, as Alton.
A disadvantage or advantage?
At disadvantage because they're still
far away.
Far away.
That's not much. That's an 11.
11. Okay. It's -4. You are using any of the ghost touch cannonballs for this one?
I mean, I don't know. Would I have done like? Are we there?
I guess if you want to use them in a future shot, tell me you want to use the ghost.
I
touch
didn't
ones.
say it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Only a couple of the balls managed to hit their deck this time. You go off. You go a little bit off route, and as they smack through, you see a tiny bit of damage. You've done another 17 points of damage to them.
Yeah. Can I do something really weird?
Yes.
Can I, as Celestia, give Alton Appleblossom inspiration because he's the one working the guns?
I'll say you
Is that allowed?
Yes, you can.
Can I just go up behind him and go, yeah, Alton,
absolutely.
shoot her in the fucking face. Yeah, ships have faces. There's a burst of rainbow. And he gets a D10 inspiration.
Figureheads?
Figureheads? Yeah, I guess.
Celestia doesn't know fucking
definitely
anything about ships. I just bear this in mind.
Can we see a name on this ship at all? Or is it still
you have to
ways
point.
Yeah,
of,
give
like,
me-
is there
give me
any
a perception
sort of
check.
Identify?
Okay.
Anyone?
Yep.
12.
19.
19. All right.
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah, so you are able to... 19, yeah, you see across the side there is actually a name, slightly faded, but painted in black paint. The Silhouette.
Oh, that's a good ship name. Oh, it's a really good ship name.
The ship turns... yeah, I think they're going to risk... they're going to bank on trying to be able to hit you again. So they take another shot with disadvantage as they fire a long-range cannon shot broadside at you. Oh, but that was a natural 2. Skilled as their gunner is, all of the shots go wide, and they're forced to jank to the side and try and pursue you. You are, because of the speed you travel at, they are even stopping to turn. You're able to gain, I'll say, 500 feet on them each time that you do this sort of retreat and curve and fire maneuver.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that again, or say the distance has increased to 4,000 feet. Once you get past 6,000, you are out of cannon range.
Yeah, and then it will just become a chase.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to do that?
So, do you guys want to? Yeah. Do you guys want to continue this tactic?
It's working well so far, yeah.
That seems right, doesn't it?
All right, go for it. Make an
shot with
attack roll with disadvantage.
That's really good, actually. That's a 24. Yes, Alton. That's not even with inspiration.
24?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All of those strike on. At the same time, they fire their shots. So with a 24, flippin' heck, you deal again 330 points of damage, halved, as all of the shots land true. You watch as the sections of the hull are splintered and shattered. One of the masts seems to go a little bit awry from the blast. That's
how it's done.
They've taken some serious hits, so they take 175 damage. Oof. That's actually quite a serious amount of damage for them. Yeah, okay. So you've taken them below half their hull points. After
Which means
this,
they get slow, don't they?
So yeah, after this, they actually slow down. Their speed is halved by the blast. They, however, did manage to get fire at the same round as you, and pull off a 21 to hit your ship. So
that will hit.
Can I see these? Can I
I guess
take
you
a
can.
D4 off that?
I guess you can see the moment they're firing. So yeah, this is a D20 roll.
I will minus a D4. It's only -1.
Aww.
So I
Still
said,
gonna hit.
I said 21, didn't I? So it
Yeah.
goes down to 20, still a +5. With a resounding crack and a series of... Every single one of these silvery cannonballs strikes the Kraken's bane. You take 330 points of damage. Has that put... That, however, because of the enhancements to your ship, does not put you below half hull.
It does not.
You are still able to... You still have... You do take some crew damage, however, unfortunately.
Oh, shit.
So keep a note of the total number of crew that you lose as you suffer. I think I've got it down as D6s, haven't I, for crew damage? There we go. You hear shouts and wails from below as 19 crew members are caught in the blast. So I'm keeping note of your casualties.
They dead or
They are casualties.
casualties? Cool.
So the surgeon may be will save some of them after the fight.
Cool.
Healing magic can save furthers.
Awesome.
But that's total number of casualties. That said, though, you watch as
So 19 casualties.
whatever the physical force of this ghostly ship is now flagging. They've taken serious damage. You can now much more easily outrun them. In fact, you even traveling as you do, I'll say their speed is half, so they can only move 275 feet per round. You can still move per minute. You can still move a full 1,000. So you're able to make 700. It was basically 725 feet per round. You were already 4,000 feet away. You will be out of here if you choose to just flee by the time they next reload their guns.
Corzin.
Do you want to go in for a kill, or do you want to try and flee?
Return fire.
Okay. Orders given.
Are we engaging with the ship if we take them down? Because there are a lot of ghosts on board.
We can sink him at range if needs be.
Alright.
All right.
Don't think I fancy that being out there, whatever happens.
That's, fair.
So as the blast, you roll around and taking the risk, you're going to fire at them again. They act the same because of how things are synced up. They fire at the same time as you.
Can I use the ghost touch?
You can use the ghost touch, the cannonballs this time. You now have enough ghost touch cannonballs because of the numbers that ran into your ship to fire an entire flight of 21 shots.
I'm going to add a D10 to that. Okay.
Shooting their own cannonballs.
My own
back
inspiration
Yep.
means that will probably hit. This is 21. It would have been 11,
21.
but I got a 10 on the D10.
Okay, yeah. So as two ranged
nice.
shots are exchanged almost simultaneously, they're actually a few seconds apart, but because of the distance of challenging, it's essentially the same time. Every one of your shots strikes entirely on target. Because this is Ghost Touch, you actually do full damage, which is enough to shatter the hull. You watch as the shots strike into the center of the silhouette, cracking the ship in half as it begins to break apart on the water.
Wow.
You watch... at the same time, though, 15 is the armor class. So you watch as another...
Can I take a D4 off
you can.
please?
You can.
-4.
-4. Fine. There's a freak kind of adjustment in how your sustained wind goes, and as you blast it to the side, a portion of the attack actually hits you. I want to say it does manage to hit some of the ship. You do still take a bit of damage. You take 35 points of damage, and there is another 5 crew casualties. You're at 24.
Okay.
So as that comes into effect, you run the ghost ship, however, is now breaking apart. Everyone give me a perception check, as it's now almost a mile away. It's hard to see through the fog.
It's not a 10.
5.
That is a 15.
15. Okay. You are just able to see, to watch as crew members, ghostly figures begin fleeing the ship. Literally flying away almost in every direction. Into the sky and away. However, there is a moment as they begin to flee that something pulses with an eerie green light that it's in the wreckage of the ship, and the crew are dragged back to it. The green light begins to spread around the ship, and you watch as very, very slowly portions of the ship begin to move slowly back together. The ship is repairing itself, but it's repairing itself like you would say if you left it for a few hours, it would heal back to a point where it could sail again. So it is slowly restoring, but it's not just sinking entirely, but it is out of this fight. Should you wish to leave now, however, if you wish to go closer and try and plunder whatever treasures a ghost ship may have, be prepared for some resistance.
You know what I've heard?
They can't return fire at this point.
No, the cannons are shot.
You know what I've heard is lovely this time of year? Running.
Anywhere else?
Yeah.
Anywhere else is lovely.
Did 35 take you under 350 hit points?
Not quite. Hang on, 350.
Yeah. Because you were at 380 before. It will have done. So,
just about.
Yeah.
So the Kraken's Bane herself has taken a significant amount of damage. You are flying at half. You are sailing at half speed. That said, though, the crew are mostly intact, and you do have 2 full marine companies ready. Should you wish to try and engage in a boarding action against ghost pirates.
The ship is limping. We don't know if they have any treasure.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, are we talking?
Put one last volley into them to be sure, and we'll get out of here.
What was that?
Said put one last volley into them to be sure, and let's get out of here.
All right.
Okay, you want to shoot it down and go?
Do that.
Just roll me an attack. A straight attack.
Straight
Doesn't
attack?
have disadvantage because they're immobile.
Oh, it's good. 26.
Okay, you blast into them, shattering, smashing, breaking the ship into smaller pieces. The fog lessens until you see it's just cloaking the area around the ship itself. You have shattered the silhouette into smithereens.
Mm-hmm.
If it can recover from this, it will take quite some time.
And then we run.
Yeah, as you prepare to run, everyone give me a perception check.
15?
13.
Okay.
24.
Okay, 20.
So good that the captain has good perception.
You do spot having been blasted free of the ship. There are a handful of silvery-looking, what look like cargo crates, beyond the radius of, say, musket fire from the ship. If you wanted to, you could try and sail past, net them up, and then flee. The ship is dead in the water. But you reckon you could just about do that without risking an actual combat engagement. Otherwise, however, you are free to leave.
Ready the nets. Let's get what we can.
Might as well.
Okay. Roll me a navigation check, please. I will say, Corzin, either yourself or your or Pepper, depending which is better.
Pepper is marginally better.
Right, roll a check for Pepper.
Okay. That is an 18.
Okay. You sweep past. You catch the crates and the nets, and bring them up. As you do so, you sail on past, and you just see, as a bit of the fog clears, standing on the ruined forecastle of the ship, is the ghostly orcish pirate. He has one fist raised, wreathed in green light, and you watch as the ship is slowly repairing, plank by plank around him. But he sort of locks two sightless eyes with you as you pass and sail on.
Can we shoot specifically at him?
Yeah, you can do I'll say you can do a bag on attack just as you go past.
On the way out.
Yeah. You're going to turn, fire, and go. Roll me a dexterity. The attack roll is the same, +8, Celestia, if you want to make it.
Cool.
You are...
That's 18.
Yeah, it's a straight shot, and that will hit his armor class. You immediately do 24 points of percussive for damage as the pair of smaller cannonballs blast into his chest. He pulls backwards a little, as if as if thrown back by the shot. The balls do pass through him, though, and although his form flickers for a moment, it restabilizes and he remains hanging in the air, green glowing fist raised, as the ghostly crew continue working to repair the ship. You sail on past, leaving the dread captain of the silhouette behind you.
While that's happening, can I give Celestia my magic sticks to go and heal people?
Yes.
I have to keep doing this.
Yeah, so
I was also going to say I would like to tank some healing spells into
you
people.
run down. So
I've got 4 charges total.
60% of the casualties,
So,
as I said.
Rob, you said you have 4 uses on that stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 3 from the stick and 1 from the totem.
Okay, I have counted up the spells that I have left. I am willing to use all of my spells for today if necessary. I have 12 healing spells that I can use.
Okay.
So that's 18 total that
There
we
are
could
12
get. What about you,
casualties
Corzin?
that more than 12. There are 14 casualties that our Jin is able to take care of himself. With the amount of healing magic you push into this, you are able to save the remaining crew members.
Cool.
You have managed to emerge from this fight with no casualties.
Yeah, I use the healing stick and do healing word as much as is needed.
However, the ship has been damaged. Repairs do take place over the next couple of days. However, you can only repair without putting into port or finding some sort of land to stop at. You are only able to repair about 50% of the damage you sustained in your last battle with supplies alone. So you took 350 damage. I believe it was 365. So you are able to restore... You do it. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to use my calculator. My mind is tired.
Okay,
No, that's fine. That's what I've been doing this whole time.
You are able to restore, I think, about 380 thereabouts. Divided by 2. Yeah. You're able to restore 182 hit points of damage. It does consume 18 tons of supplies. Because you have already been sailing for 1 month, you have already used 50 tons of supplies. So you are.
Does water breathing help with repairs? Because the carpenter can go underwater.
I will say it does, but the problem is just there are some materials that you need you need fresh timber, you need to pull the ship up to work on it. You can do some repairs, and I'll say you can go up to a full 200 with the aid of water breathing, but there's just some stuff you need to stop for.
Cool.
You can't do. So I'll say you can restore 200. I'll round it up.
Oh, God.
You still spend 20 tons. So, you should have 130 tons of supplies at this stage.
Okay.
But it does cost you supplies, and you are kind of down. So you should now be at you were at 335 before. You should now be at 535 hit points.
What if we got repairing stuff from another ship we boarded? Would that help?
Yes,
Cool.
you can do that by
So it
boarding a
doesn't
ship.
have to be
Yeah,
land.
boarding a ship and essentially dismantling portions of it to repair your own ship.
Or just
is a
nicking
valid,
their spare timber that they will have. Yeah.
is a valid option.
Cool.
But just keep in mind of that. You are, however, able to recover the flotsam. So, Corzin, roll me a d10.
Yeah. Okay. 9.
9. Okay. That you have recovered 9 heavy crates. Once you pass more than a mile from the ship, the silvery light around them passes. They are no longer. They are, as far as you can tell, no longer touched by whatever ghostly effect there was.
Okay.
They seem to be perfectly ordinary wooden crates.
Let's have a look what's inside.
Okay.
Oh, I
Maybe
love
check with no sort of ghost trap.
Yeah, true. I love secret
Ghost
boxes, though.
trap.
Secret boxes are my favourite.
All right. Roll an investigation check.
Can I help?
Yes,
someone?
you can.
Or can I do it? Because I think
You
my
can do it if you
investigation's
want.
best. Oh
Yeah.
shit! No, I've just taken expertise in that. I think.
Yay!
No, I haven't. I'm lying.
No,
Never
you
mind.
haven't.
It's still good
You
though.
weren't proficient, so yeah.
So that is a 24.
24.
Yes.
They are sealed by virtue of being hammered shut and actually tarred to be watertight. But they are a lot of effort has been taken to make sure these are watertight. But they do not appear to be to be trapped in any way.
Can't see any traps.
Well, that's good.
All right. Good to
Open
know.
the secret boxes.
Okay.
Secrets.
Let's see what we have here.
With a handy crowbar and the aid of your crew, you crack them open.
Ghost secrets.
And you find heavy, almost kind of double-bagged sacks. They look kind of ancient, almost. Like they look like they've been around for a long time. But carefully cut to opening one and examining it, the contents are kind of miraculously preserved. You have acquired 9 tons of pepper.
Ah, that's probably worth quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, spices are valuable.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have a ship inventory, or do you need somebody else to write that down?
You should have it under
I can
cargoes.
put it under the cargo
Yeah.
supplies.
Lovely, yeah.
So
Just
add
probably good to
9
have it all in one
tons
place.
Of pepper.
9 tons of pepper.
Oh, fun.
Excellent.
Wow.
Well, that's exciting.
No, there are merchants in Sunder who'll pay top money for
I
this.
mean, it is good value, yeah, lots of... But pepper from a ghost ship just seems a bit...
Well, what are they doing with it? Do they eat? Do they trade?
I guess it was a real ship once. They must be looting
Yeah, well,
other
either they
people.
were trading or using it to preserve their own food.
Huh. Interesting. Ghost ship. That happened. Shit.
It makes as much sense as finding gold on it.
I
Yeah.
had a thought. Has anyone
What?
checked on little Corzin? Because he's going to be shitting himself. Anyone done that yet?
I'm
You
almost
see
certain
as
that is what
Molly-
There is
would
an
have done
outline of
immediately.
Corzin's where Corzin used to be. He's gone.
Yeah, you watch as you come down and you find Molly is already there and has lulled little Corzin back to sleep.
How'd you get down out of the crow's nest so fast?
It's kind of the first priority once I realised we weren't in combat anymore. It's all right. Your first priority is the ship. That's why you've got me.
Come here. And he gives her a kiss.
Kisses you back, and the pair of you both kind of hold your son for a little bit and stroke his hair and help lull him back to sleep. There are a few stern words later, but things smooth over fairly easily. Just the kind of anxiety that comes after a brief life or death experience.
Yep, fair. Yeah. Totally fair.
However, you've taken some hits. You've repaired your ship enough to fly at full speed, so you're not losing any time. And also, yes, another possibility might be trading for repairs if you encountered a merchant ship or something.
Cool.
But you are able to continue your journey onwards to Sunder. And that is where we'll pick up after these, no doubt important, messages. And now for a word from our friends, the Dice Girls.
The Dice Girls may not know what we're doing, but we're sure having a lot of fun doing it.
Do my bagpipes have, attack damage? If I take out my bow, could I miss and hit triggers?
If you roll bad enough.
Have we been able to see the whole time?
You have dark vision! Surprise!
What ho, ugly creature?
Don't mind him.
Everyone's dying around me, but I can't hit anything!
Are you guys gonna be okay?
Honestly, I think the answer to that is always no.
Who are you?
We're just some riffraff.
Not anything particularly special. We are the Dice Girls.
Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
I rolled a 4, we're gonna die.
Only the best will do. And the best is Utu Agaric, the finest mushroom wine for the finest drow. Why bother with strange surface vodka or dwarven whiskies so strong you can barely taste them, when you can appreciate the complex fungal flavours of Utu Agaric? Utu Agaric. When liking, sharing and subscribing to Flintlocks and Fireballs, there's no better. And welcome back. After the incident with the ghost pirate ship, there is a cautious optimism. True, the ship did take a bit of a beating in that last exchange, and you only pulled up a relatively small amount of loot. However,
I write a song called Ghost Pirates.
I'll make a note of that. Nice. Ghost pirate song.
Coming to a bonus content near you. Maybe.
Or maybe not. We don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. I never know. So there is, but there is a cautious optimism because, well, you came out alive. No one died, and given a lot of the stories people have heard about engagements, and some of the old hands have seen in engagements of this type, that's pretty good innings. So I'm going to ask you to raise your crew quality by 1 for a improvement as a result of what is still a victory. It does constitute a victory. So
I make a lot of fuss once everybody's okay and sing loads of songs and generally make it a party atmosphere.
The next few days pass comfortably. There is, as we go from the 14th towards the 17th, again, there's that growing trust between the crew, but also you take a little bit of time to see how, to take notice of your friends and companions. Little Corzin is settling in moderately well into the responsibilities of a ship's boy. He's a little carefree at times, and and there is an awkwardness in that you can tell that some of the other ship's boys are a bit jealous of his position, but also a little bit afraid to pick on him, given his mother and father.
Mostly his mother.
Mostly his mother.
You don't pick on the child whose parent administers the punishments.
Yeah,
well, technically that would be Vig, but still orders them. That said, though, there is a positive atmosphere, and that carries through, despite the absence of Belle, who has cooked solidly ahead of time before her 3 days off, up until the 17th, when one of Belle's assistants produces a pre-baked cake to celebrate one Molly Millhill Horhace's birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say,
17th
I would gather
Close
little Corzin and Celestia and Scamp at the beginning of the day, go down to the ship's galley, and get them to help me decorate it.
Aww. You know that we're well up for this and we make it super exciting.
Yeah.
Oh,
it would
what's
be...
her favourite drink?
What is Molly's favourite drink?
I mean, I know it. It happened on air. Whether you remember or not is another thing. I mean,
Yeah,
she served you that spiced rum thing when you saw her that time.
Yeah. She's also quite partial to Kenny's cider, but I think that's the rum's a good shout.
I will spend a couple of days beforehand just making bottles of that rum.
Okay.
With them.
Oh,
So
and
there's
keeping it
loads of
back, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
You prepare a solid amount of said rum.
Birthday present.
Excellent. Thank you, Scamp. I'm sure she'll appreciate that mightily. Right.
I don't have anything good. I'm going to write a song.
Excellent.
All right, you prepare a song.
It's called The Ballad of Red-Haired Molly. I don't know what it sounds like, but that's what it's called.
Excellent.
Ballad of Red-Haired Molly.
Yeah. It's about a woman who smashes people's heads together and is the best sharpshooter anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen Red-Haired Moll? She's got quite the glint to her eye, and it's sharp as the knives upon her belt, and she'll shoot you right in your thigh. So everybody sing about Red-Haired Moll. Come on, let's dance 1, 2, 3, 4, and everybody tell me the song of Red-Haired Molly. I don't fucking know, but something along those lines.
That was fucking brilliant.
That was so good.
Fuck you, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Let's
But I
take
would say
that
I
10
rather
seconds
than
and make the
thighs,
rest of the song.
I was the first one that I didn't want to repeat I. You workshop it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I give it a refrain that the whole crew can sing along to.
yeah.
Excellent.
And the day comes and there is quite a positive, jubilant air, and yeah, that kind of contributes to that morale boost, along with the survival of the previous days. Molly eventually comes down.
Oh, Corzin would have rejigged the crew rotor so that we could go and do this while she was on shift, and then surprise her at the end of it.
She comes down at the end of her shift. So this is what all the racket was about.
What racket has been very quiet.
Yeah. Lots of racket.
And
All
a very
us.
happy birthday to you too, darling.
Come here, you big lug. No, you little lug. She sweeps you up and kisses you.
Scandal! Captain's kissing the first mate.
She, still kissing Corzin, flips her middle finger at you.
Scandal! First mate sticking her fingers up in the air. It's vulgar. Look away.
No.
Jeffrey, poking out
I'm
of
going
your
to
backpack,
cover
does the same
little
thing.
Corzin's eyes.
You know, on any other ship, fraternization would be a serious problem, but I don't...
Yeah, just pulls your head back round. Lets you have some air. Right, let's try this cake then. And all the rest of this. And
What have
where
we
did you
decorated
get
with?
a bottle of that?
Well, we have our
this-
sources.
Is this the right one?
Uncorks it, pours a little into a cup, tastes it. Bang on right. Didn't think we had any of that in the stocks.
We didn't, and he winks.
She reaches up and kind of ruffles your hair, Scamp.
Oh, I forget that she has to reach up. She's like enormous in my head because she's Molly.
Did we decide that Molly is about like 3'2"?
Yeah.
She's taller than Corzin.
Molly is one of those people
noticeably taller,
whose apparent height vastly exceeds her actual height.
Like Edna mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A jolly good time is had by all.
Aww.
The you see Fighty is joining in, drinking. Has actually brought some of his own. Has brought some bottles of his wine of his own, which he's being a little bit freer with than usual. Benny is engaging in heated conversation with Corzin Jr. about ships.
Perfect.
So I was. I mean, like you should have seen the. You should have seen the one that we saw with the ghost one. What was the ghost ship like? I know. I'd say that it was probably like a late 1750s, maybe early 1750s sort of model. Oh, you mean the ones with like with the reverse rigging on the masks? Yes, exactly. That sort of stuff. They engage in a conversation. You don't really understand it, and neither does the DM.
Aww.
So cute. So wholesome.
All right.
As the night winds on, can I try and buy some drugs from people? Because I'm assuming that I'm running out by this point, so I think I'd be panicking a bit.
Persuasion check. You know who all the opium users are on the ship.
Yeah, obviously I don't think they'll have much, but like, I mean, as always, it's good. That is persuasion 32.
32.
Yeah.
You are pretty.
It wasn't
good
a nat 20, but it was
you're
one
pretty
down.
good at like approaching them with different stories, wheedling them out of it. You end up spending. I'm going to say you have to pay as it were not the illegal price but the real price for this. So it's a gold apiece. I'll say that you managed to get 10 doses out of them, but that dries
it's another
up
week, yeah.
all the sources you can get. And there is a kind of cautious look from Shen Yu, the goblin who is kind of in charge of the other goblins on the ship unofficially, as he passes you a couple of doses he has. Just take care. Maybe spread it out a little.
Okay.
It's a long journey till port.
It is. Will spreading it out help?
A little.
How worried should I be?
Depends. How long have you been smoking it for?
What would it be about? Out of character. Like, what would it be about? 3-4 months?
About 4 months? Yeah, 3-4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
How often do you tend to smoke?
Like every day.
There's a moment where he is enjoying a small celebratory pipe himself. Actually, no, he doesn't have the means that you do. So I will say this, because it's a bastard to set up, he's just having a tobacco pipe instead. But he does kind of...
Yeah, he'd have to have either set up a lamp or
Yeah, he hasn't got a lamp set up, so he's just got a little tobacco pipe instead and sort of chokes a little on the tobacco. Start spreading that out now.
Okay, how much?
Until you... Just go as long as you can before you need to.
All right.
You might make it to shore without the worst.
What's the worst?
It's only been 4 months, so you're unlikely to die.
Right. That's comforting.
It will not be pleasant.
How bad are we talking?
Do you remember how bad it was when you first got on a ship?
Like seasickness?
About 24 times worse than that.
Precisely 24. Why 24 precisely?
Felt like a good number. The point is, you're going to feel like you've been shat out the backside of an octopus.
Again, weirdly specific, darling.
Sorry, that it sounds better in Haldanic.
Oh, right, one of those. There are elven sayings that sound shit in Jovan as well, I understand.
Yeah. He nods, puffing on his pipe of tobacco.
Well, thank you for the vote of confidence on that one.
Just take care. Even spaced out, it's not going to be comfortable. But it's a good step to take.
All right.
You awkwardly return to the party.
Oh, I don't tell anyone.
Yeah. You can feel him watching you with like a degree of slightly distant concern in the way that you give someone who you're not particularly close to, but you're worried about, in that sense of being worried about people that you work with, but maybe aren't personally friends with.
And also just that acknowledgement of like somebody going through something that you've seen or been through yourself, like that kind of No one told Celestia it was addictive. It's a new surface drug. Just saying. This is actually the first she's heard of it.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely fair.
The sailing continues. Time passes. Do you begin spacing it out?
I try, and I might roll for how well I do.
Roll.
Because often people try and it doesn't work.
I want you to roll both a Constitution and a Wisdom saving throw, please.
Yeah. Because I think she would try after that conversation, but I just genuinely don't know if it would work. Okay, so Wisdom is a 20, actually,
okay.
Nat 20. Con is only an 11, though.
Okay, so Wisdom. Okay, you decide to leave off it for a day or so. You're fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, for like 24 hours, everything's
you're
moving.
like, it's still pretty good. It's fine. You're a little bit afraid to go to sleep, but, we kind of tossing and turning a bit. You manage something that
vaguely resembles sleep.
Vaguely resembles sleep. The nightmares are not good, but you power through the next day. You carry on working. Your nose starts to run a little bit during the day. You kind of get a bit of a ache behind your eyes. It feels a bit like you're coming down with something. You're going to take the blue handkerchief.
Blowing my nose on Leah's handkerchief a lot. Looking rough.
Carry on working through the day, singing your songs, doing the manual labour when needed. Corzin, roll me a medicine check.
Okay. That is a 16.
Okay, you don't notice anything yet beyond the fact that Celestia is a bit sniffly at a day and you don't think much of it.
I imagine on a ship like so many people have a cold at any given time.
And so on going on.
Yeah.
Probably not even concerning particularly.
It's a cold sort of day. A bit miserable. You find that yourself twitching a little bit. Just like kind of wanting to keep active.
Yeah. I get a bit manic and strange.
It's a really awful day. It's just everything goes wrong. You can't quite seem to focus. You've not been getting enough sleep. Your thoughts kind of trail off a little at times. There's a couple of moments where you finish a song and you're like 30 seconds before you remember to carry on keeping the chant, maintaining the beat of work on the ship, keeping things up, although you kind of you haven't quite got the pizzazz today, It's like the spark isn't quite in your step.
Yeah. Like some okay songs, but they're not usual Celestia great.
Yeah, it's not. There's no red-headed Molly going on today. And there's a slightly more maudlin tone to some of the songs you choose. A lot more along the line, less sort of Whiskey Johnny, and a bit more like I dreamed a dream the other night.
Yeah.
Lowlands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You come round to the end of your shift on the 19th. It's a cheerful sort of day. It's not. It's really quite a miserable day. You try to sleep. You toss. You turn. Can't quite get to sleep. Restless. The cold is really bunging up your head. You feel awful. Like, kind of... Is it cold? It's really... No, it's far too hot, actually, thinking about it after a while. It's... Oh, you kind of find yourself, like, in your cabin, taking off your shirt, taking off your clothes, trying to get cool, and then...
And then bundling up 5 seconds
back
later.
Up again.
Yeah.
It takes a few hours of tossing and turning to get, like, maybe an hour of something resembling sleep, but it's not really sleep. You're not resting. You're not getting any long rests without opium. And
at this point, I'm still in possession of opium, aren't
you're still in possession of opium. You rolled a wisdom save of 20.
Okay.
The con save was for how quickly this kicks in, but yeah, you're kind of not involuntarily smoking yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide when I would cave,
but the point is that the choice is yours. Because the following day you are sweating, cold and hot sweat. The cold is bunging up your head. You feel everything rocks. Your head feels like it's swelling. And as you stumble up and try to get to your post for the first time in months, you feel your stomach surge and you violently throw up your breakfast over the side of the ship. Roll me a new wisdom save.
Okay. Nah. 2.
It's too much. It's... Yeah, you know what this is. Like this, you just, like, you need to sleep. That's the thing. Like, all of this is from not getting enough sleep. And you need to get some sleep. And... maybe you should just finish off this shift and get back to your bunk and just smoke the one pipe just to help you drift off. And then, a bit of sleep will cure all of this.
Do either of us notice this?
With a 16 on your previous medicine check, you do notice that Celestia kind of has a bit of a fever. Looks like she's coming down with quite a bad cold.
I mean, if I throw up over the side,
and it's like,
that's not hidden,
it's vomiting.
is it?
You see, you both see a vomit.
Having read about addiction, I don't wait till the end of my shift.
Yeah, you just immediately.
Yeah, I
like
just
ease it off
take
now.
a few minutes and take a minute out and go smoke a pipe.
Yeah, you just light a pipe up, warm it in your hand.
I think I hide in my cabin with one.
Yeah. Takes about... I'm not sure how quickly it restores, but I'm going to say like an hour or so.
Pretty fast, actually.
Oh, right. It's like half an hour type.
Less.
Wow, really?
Yeah, you feel better when you start smoking it. A few puffs in, it starts easing. It's that fast.
Oh, that cold is that pain in behind your eyes, that's starting to go. Ooh.
Obviously, it builds in feeling better, but you do feel pretty quick relief.
Starting to go, and by the time you've had a bit of a break, had a bit of a smoke. Okay, yeah, you can do the day. Things are looking a bit brighter again. It's going to be a better day than yesterday. Mm-hmm. So you have... So yeah, from at this point... So how many doses did you have left? Do you... So I'm going to say that...
I bought 10.
Yeah, you bought 10.
That is up to you, because you just said that I had a month or something
you were that
before.
many out. You were 2 weeks out. Okay.
So that's
Looking at how
genuinely
many
up to
you
you.
have, you have 23 doses remaining.
Okay.
You have 2 more months of this. You have a little over 2 more months of this journey.
Definitely
so
not
about
gonna cover it.
70 days.
Yeah, cool. I'll roll something. Nah, definitely not clever enough to tell anyone that happened.
Yeah.
I roll for this character sometimes to see whether she's going to tell anyone.
But the pair of you do
Yeah.
notice Celestia throwing up and feeling ill, and you do notice her coming back feeling a bit better. Actually, a lot better.
You alright?
Yeah, I think I threw it all up. Must have eaten something weird.
I thought,
Something
you,
disagree with you at breakfast?
Maybe? Dunno.
I thought you were done throwing up on ships.
Yeah, me too. Apparently not.
You look better now.
Yeah, I feel better. Thank you.
Well, that's good. Did you get something else to eat? Because whenever I throw something up bad up, you put something else better in, and that helps. Sometimes.
No, maybe you're right. Maybe I should eat something else.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, there's probably nothing in there, is there? Ugh. Yuck.
Do you want some chocolate? Oh no, I used them all.
Ah,
Sorry.
you're fine.
Can I have some tomorrow?
Okay.
You carry on. Continuing. Just give me one constitution, and one wisdom save for the week to come.
Yeah, I think
To see how
I
much
would-
you can stretch it out.
I'd try and start spacing it out,
Yeah.
but whether it'd work, I genuinely don't know. Whew, no, hun.
What did you get?
Wisdom's 12, Constitution is 8. Doesn't work.
Oh no.
I'll say you manage over the following week, by the end of the month, you will spend 8 doses. So it's you got above a 10, you're able to, you try it, there's a couple of days you try and go without, but
I think from that, I think most days.
most days you
cave.
you cave. So
I think there's probably the odd night where I don't.
there's the odd night where you don't, which is why it's 8 days out of 10 you do.
Yeah,
So you spend 8 doses after that.
cool. So
So
how many do I have left?
So you had 23, so you got 15 left, and that's you checked until the end of this month, I'll say. But that's not the only thing that happens in the month, and it's not the only person who's under the weather. Corzin.
Yeah.
The repairs kind of take place over the next few days, and there is one day, and sort of, they take four days to take place. There's some stuff which can be sped up with improved mending, and but some stuff just takes a bit of time. And it's not always best to use Scamp for some of these tasks. Some of them require a bit more finesse than improved mending can manage. But Wheels is doing a fair job, and Benny, for the most part, is actually assisting her as well. Though there is one morning where you do notice that Benny isn't assisting Wheels, and struck by curiosity, you go down to the... You kind of ask around, and as a sort of passenger, she's been given... She doesn't have her own quarters, per se, but she has... but she managed to kind of negotiate a corner bunk type arrangement that she shares with... that she ends up sharing in a space with mostly only Fighty, and has managed to acquire a little bit of a desk and so on, or a little bit of a bench that she can use and so on, and places with essentially she's taken to bunking in the section that where you leave a lot of the spare wood.
Right.
And you find her there looking anxious. She's just
everything all right, Benny?
kind of in an uncertain sort of state. It's like she's kind of caught between things. Her beard, her hair, it's usually tied back into quite a tight bun. It still is, but there's more strands loose than usual. It's like she's not quite tied it as tightly. The beard braiding needs doing up, and some of the braids are out of the single beard ring that she wears. Yes. No need to fret. Eyes are a little red. You can see that there's slight mess of paperwork around. Some of it's ship design, some of it's bits and pieces. Just looking for my list. Just looking for my list.
Which list?
Kind of sort of my day-to-day list. Can't quite seem to recover it. I know it's around here somewhere.
All right. Oh, can I assist her looking for this list?
Yeah. Please, just give me a hand. I just need to. Can you roll me an investigation check, please?
Is it just causing this?
It's just causing this.
Okay. 10.
It takes you about 10 minutes of looking around, and you find that it's slipped. That you find a piece of paper which is slipped underneath one of the slightly, like not all of the board, of the wood is perfectly even, and there's like a little gap where this note has slipped under, and it just has.
There's the bigger.
It just has a list saying, "Get up, brush hair, brush beard, get dressed, have breakfast." Sort out ship design notes, work on, do carpentry assistance work, have dinner, make sure to check hygiene, double check whether there's anything you need doing, double check, get some rest. She takes the list from you gratefully. Thank you. Sits down and looks at it, crosses a bit off with a carpenter's pencil, ties up her hair a bit.
Is this your daily routine?
Today's. Sorry, oh, it's a little embarrassing. It shouldn't be, but it is. Kind of need to use little tools to get through the day sometimes. This is a bad day. A lot of days aren't bad days, but this is a bad day, and in the bad days I need the little lists.
That's fair enough.
Oh, sorry. Jurist always used to say how it works is Benny, you daft sod. It's okay. Your head just doesn't work the same way as most people's, and it's not a bad thing. But you just need a little bit of help, and you can carry on being brilliant with ships, and that's kind of what I want to do.
Of course.
You can't do ships if you forget to eat.
Well, quite. No, eating's important, but also. Sorry. No. There's no need to apologise. Now,
looks down, rubs her head.
Did it ever occur to you that part of what makes this necessary is also the thing that allows you to be as brilliant with ships as you are?
Yeah. That's what Yura said. Said this happens sometimes. You get people like me where I'm really good at focusing on like one task and doing that, and it's great. I just do need to make sure I eat and take care of myself, and then I get on with it. And sometimes if I leave my lists, I'll just sort of lose the day.
Well, I've instigated a a halfling system of meals on this ship, so you shouldn't ever be that far away from the opportunity to go and get something at the galley.
That's true. Yes, I've really got to appreciate come to appreciate the second breakfast thing. I skip it a lot of the time because I'm busy, but when I remember, it's really nice. It's great if I skip first breakfast, because it means I don't skip breakfast.
Absolutely, and tell you what, I know that, strictly speaking, you're just a passenger on this ship, but you've been invaluable with the repair work.
Oh, thank you. I gotta say, being able to breathe underwater has really made it a bit easier.
Yeah. Well.
Could I ask you not to make a deal of this, if that's all right?
Of course, my lips are sealed.
Thanks. I know it's not really bad. I don't always want people seeing me like this. And
it's fine, and I just gently put a hand on her shoulder.
She kind of takes the hand with hers and clasps it to you. Sorry.
It's all right.
Shouldn't apologise so much. It'll get better. It always does, especially if I've got my tools, got my lists. It's just hard.
Eurist sounds like he was a very wise man. I hope to get better acquainted with him sooner or later.
Aye. Very patient. But he was good. He is good. He's still around. Benny, come on. But yeah.
And we're gonna find him.
Yeah, we will. Okay.
What's the next thing on your list?
Okay, sort my beard out. Comb. Adjust. Check clothes. Food. Gotta go and eat something. Then I gotta get these into order. Oh no, I'm late for... Oh, one moment. Takes a list and you see she pencils a little arrow shifting the assist carpentry line so it's above the organised things line. Okay, that's more urgent, but still got time for that later. Is it more important that I work on the carpentry stuff or I get some food in?
Food, definitely.
Okay,
Go.
so I won't move it over the food. Fine. Okay, that's an order. I can do that.
If it helps, I can make it one. And Corzin grins at her.
No, thanks. Thank you, Captain. Thanks, Corzin.
No problem.
Okay.
He smiles at her.
She smiles. Right, let's get some... Are we on first or second breakfast now?
Oh, and he sort of takes a brief look out the window to see where the sun
It's
is.
brunch by this point.
Yeah, I think we're about heading into brunch right now. Off you trot.
Right, yes. Brunch is fine. Still have some brunch. She strides off to get a little bit of brunch in her.
Before that, there was Lemonsies, like the song.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. I was really pleased when I realised that was... No, first breakfast, second breakfast, 11's brunch.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, it's 11's
Come on.
brunch.
Yeah.
It really should be the other way around. I might have put it that way for the purposes of music, but
Just for sounding nice, yeah.
because you have brunch you have brunch at like 10, then you have your 11's, and then it's lunchtime. It's like 12 till 1, and yeah. Regardless, time continues. Scamp this time.
Uh-oh.
Roll me a d10.
I love this as a thing. Random episodes are really fun.
Yeah.
7.
7. Okay.
This is not another 10.
D6.
5.
5. D20.
Oh no. Okay. 6.
Okay. You are solidly into the long transcaloric trade route by this point. You have left Sanistal behind. And you see but there is still, it's because there is essentially a single straight lane or route that leads onwards ahead between Jova to Sunder, and you are following that kind of transcaloric route. It is not inconceivable that occasionally one may pass ships travelling in the same sort of directions. So as you sail on, you see up ahead on the horizon that it is, let's see what kind of day it is today. It is a rainy day, fairly temperate. There's a fairly, there's a comfortable breeze. There's a nice strong wind giving you, so you're moving at full travel speed. And there's not quite enough. The rain's not quite thick enough to cut visibility any great distance. So the full 8 miles, I want to say, in the distance, you are able to spot a ship approaching. It is another 5th rate. It looks to be kitted out again, by the looks of it, for war. Not unlike your own in terms of loadout. It's a pretty common loadout generally. This one is actually loaded up with carronades instead of long guns. So it's a shorter range type weapon, and they are flying the orange Ferocian colours.
So Sul is not at war with them.
Sul is not at war with Feroz.
When you read that last list out, it was actually simpler to write down who Sul were not at war with. So I've written Sul, and I've written not war, and I've written 4 places.
Brilliant.
I've written where we are at war with, so
we're complete between the two of us.
Perfect.
Yes, between the pair of you, you have an accurate list of war.
War list.
So, you are sailing pretty much on a direct course. You're able to spy them through the spyglass after the lookout illuminates, kind of points them out to you, and you get up and you can just make them out. You actually have to climb up because of the distance to get the full 8 miles of distant view before you're really able to see them. But yes, up ahead there does appear to be a ship approaching. Do you want to just sail on past them? Do you want to interact with them, try and trade, anything like that?
I was going to say, if they're sailing in the opposite direction, why not try and signal them and see if they would be interested in buying some pepper.
Okay.
Or trading us some repair bits.
Yeah.
Because we're not repaired properly.
Sure.
Well, didn't you say that we've done the amount of repairs we can do without being in dock?
Yeah. Although
Not
you
without
can
being in
trade,
dock,
although you can trade for missing parts from other ships, which will allow you to repair up fully.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
fair.
sort
Okay.
of the limitation of that.
Right.
Okay. Just making a note of something.
But yeah, also worth checking if they want to buy some pepper.
Yeah, frankly.
By all means.
All right then. So you make. So you move up at. So you, as you're approaching, you are able to make a. You're able to use the signaling flags to send a message. So you can send kind of any simple message that you want. So decide what message you would like to flag up through the semaphore flags.
Want to buy some pepper?
I mean, genuinely, do you want pepper for sale? Do you want to trade? And we have pepper. Are both very legitimate options. Or, I mean, it's debatable whether the semaphore code... For the semaphore code, you'd have to spell out pepper, but you could.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I mean-
First of all, signal them asking if they are interested in trading. Yeah.
Okay. So you signal out, querying trade, there is a pause. You end up having to get a little bit closer, so you're about 6 miles apart before they signal to indicate that they have received your message and signal back affirmative. Will trade cash or supplies. What
Excellent.
cargo?
We've got pepper and samovars, haven't we?
Yes.
We probably don't want to sell all of that, but like, I mean, we can trade some of it, I guess.
Okay.
I think I've probably been experimenting with the bowl as well, just making different funny tasting alcohols because it's fun.
Fun.
That's true.
And there's nothing to do on this boat.
Yeah, when you're not doing magic, like, yeah.
There is just a... So, the ship begins signal...
I bet somebody set a dartboard up somewhere.
Yeah, there's a dartboard up somewhere.
Oh, I've definitely been playing darts with
In the
Courage.
same place where the alcohol is served, of course.
Me, Courage, we've definitely been playing
Because
darts with
that's
Courage and
sensible.
fighting.
I mean,
Yeah. All right. So you say, you signal up. What you have. They signal. Agreed. Will approach alongside and extend boarding for face-to-face trade.
great.
The
All right.
ship approaches, gets closer and closer. Corzin, roll me a d20.
Okay. 7.
Okay. They continue...
Is it possible to insight check a ship?
You can insight check a ship, yeah, absolutely. If you want to make an insight check, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to know whether they're pirates under false colours.
How long do we have before they get to us at this point?
So at the rate of travel, you move at, so that's 6 miles per hour. No, their speed is actually a bit less than that, but your speed, you're moving towards them, you're moving at 8 miles per hour. You'll get within them within 30 to 40 minutes easily.
Can I scry on them?
Yes, you can.
I was going to suggest.
So yeah, as the approach is happening.
I'll check in with Corzin, obviously, but
And
should I scry on the captain?
Can't hurt.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's happening. Sorry, what was your insight check, Scamp?
17.
17. And so so you kind of study and watch the ship as it approaches. It's currently, it's still a few miles away. So peering through the spyglass, you're trying to get what information you can. It's hard to tell at this distance, but I'll keep that for as it gets closer. So until it gets close and into closer range, it's hard to tell with a 17, just from whether it's sailing for sure whether this ship is honest in its intentions. It could be, it could not be, but you will get more information as it gets closer. At the same time, Celestia, you focus in.
Show me the captain of that ship over there that's flying Ferocian colours.
You plunge in. So they get... Oh, okay. I did roll a save for them. So there is a brief moment as you approach in. There is... All you get in the moment while the bubble is stabilising is a glimpse of I want to say... Okay. Is a glimpse of a kind of dusky-skinned half-elf woman. And she seems to be wearing... some sort of frock coat or similar. Not exactly a frock coat, it's slightly different wear. It's more like a long leather coat, dyed to be a sort of kind of like greens and blues, but with a yellow, but she is wearing amber earrings and a necklace and a kind of like a cap which is it's more like it's more akin to a fez in its design than like a broad brimmed hat.
That's really cool.
Yeah. However, as you approach, she frowns and seems to notice something and kind of turns. And as she does so, the bubble disrupts. a little, and it's that instinctive reaction to being scryed on of like, what? No.
I will try again.
Okay.
If we've got a bit more time.
Okay, it takes you another 10 minutes to try again.
Yeah.
Can Scamp say something before that?
Yes, you can.
If you want.
I thought you couldn't if they resist. Don't you then say?
Oh.
You can't.
No,
Yeah.
no, you can't. Yeah, sorry. No, you're right. Fuck. Thank you. Well done.
But there's lots of other people on the ship.
I could scry on somebody else, couldn't I?
Yeah. I'll say that
First
you...
mate.
Show me the first mate of that ship over there that's flying the Ferocian Calcinea.
That works. You spend another 10 minutes focusing. I'll say that it takes about 30 minutes to get close. So you started out 8 miles away. 6 miles, 3 miles, I'll say, is about the point when this scry takes effect. Mm-hmm. So they also roll a save. So I believe... Let's get the scrying rules up, because they definitely get a bonus by virtue of you have not met them.
Yeah.
They're solidly in the second-hand bonus to save.
No, totally.
They don't necessarily have a great will save, but that does make a difference. So, scrying. Okay, so that's...
I would do the pass thing, but I'm like legitimately terrified of what's happening.
Those ticks just get higher.
I'm already at 7, like it's getting bad,
Yeah.
you know?
What's your spell save?
17.
With the fact that you just don't know them, it's an 18. So again, you
Goddamn.
get an image of a dusky-skinned human with a not dissimilar dress, although this time it's like a blue-green leather waistcoat and slightly kind of billowing trousers, short, trousers that are short around the knees. But again, there's that what something else and they brush out, and again the bubble breaks.
How long do we have until we're with them?
They will be with you in another 10 minutes.
I'm gonna run up to Corzin.
Because you're sailing together like in this port, in this manner.
Corzin.
Yes, what is it?
I've done it twice, they've resisted. We've got 10 minutes. I can either do it again, but I don't need to just... No, that'd be pointless. There's no point me doing it again. Or I could just cast the one where it makes us really hard to board in case they are doing anything terrible.
They have indicated that they wish to come aboard to trade.
Oh, true. If they're trading, that would be really bad.
However,
Maybe not.
if you're planning to sneakily attack and capture this ship, it's a great tactic.
Let's hold off on that for now, but keep any of that to hand. I know that particular one takes a while.
It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah, you've got about 10 minutes until they're close enough to board.
Is there a
like
way
12
you
minutes.
can then let someone in and change your mind about them?
I can do a password.
Yes, you can.
We'd have to all say it as well, I think.
You can set it so that you can set the crew of the ship and set a password. I will set.
I'm going to do that. Can I set a password?
Yes. What is
Fuck
your
it.
password?
Yeah. What can the password be? I'm all for ideas.
Oh, I've got no good suggestions.
Bums? Password can't just be bums. They might say that. I'm running around casting a spell
letters,
while I'm saying this.
Capital letters, characters. Yeah.
Good passwords. Good passwords.
Password is fuck the Kraken. I go around and start. I
works.
cast the spell in the same way that I did last time.
Okay. Fuck the Kraken. So you
This
set
is
that-
actually really good as a thing. Because we can just wait until we know if they're hostile.
Okay.
Maybe we should do it every evening before you go to bed. Oh no, because you're not getting spell slots back.
You are not getting spell slots back unless you take opium. Yeah.
Yeah, only if I take opium, and then
So-
I just won't be for a while when I run out.
So the ship gets closer and closer. As it hits the point where the two ships are now a mile apart from each other, I'll say you are now close enough to get more information on that 17 check. So they're 6,000 feet apart. And Scamp, studying the ship, looks fine. Everything's fine. You can kind of see the crew now. They're wearing... the officers, it would look like, you would guess, are wearing those sort of long leather coat. They're like the kind of blue-green leathers. There's kind of a uniformy feel to them. But not all of the crew are. I mean, granted, that's normal. Often it's only the officers that will wear a uniform. But there's a lot of variation. And now that you look at it, there's something... Wait. Your eyes draw to the gun ports. Why are the gun ports open on an approach to trade?
The gun ports are open. This is not a friendly trade.
That's not good.
No, and the crew's not... I mean, look at it. That's a pirate crew. That's a pirate crew.
Well, fuck. Good you noticed before they're here, I suppose. What do we do? Still running around casting my spell as we're talking, I assume.
Yeah.
Touching.
Keep on with that for the moment.
What?
You said they've got shorter range guns than us.
Yep,
They do.
Yeah, you can tell from the style of the gun ports that these are carronade ports, not long guns.
Could get the first shot in.
So you know from the
just in case they're actually
you know
good.
from your time aboard the Charlie's Regret that the range of their broadsides will be 3,200 feet long range, 800 feet short range, and your broadside is long range 6,000 feet, i.e. your current range, or 1,500 feet is short range.
All right.
Or, alternately, I'm still casting this spell. I can't really do anything else.
You can talk while you're casting it, but you are running around, like you're kind of shouting to them.
I mean, I can't really do this at the same time. I was just going to suggest I could send to them and say if, our guns are longer range than yours, so don't try anything.
That's not a terrible idea.
I also need to finish doing this,
range.
so...
Yeah, you carry on doing that.
I don't really know what to suggest other than... I don't think we should be the ones to fire the first shot, but we should also not let them get in range.
I think they will fire on us if they do.
Alright, send to them and tell them to close their gun ports.
Can I
You will need to finish your thing. By the time you have finished your spell, they will have closed to half a mile, which is their long range.
Alright, signal to them then.
Oh, you can have a signal. Yeah, you can.
Can we
the
get someone to
semaphore
do that?
signals.
Yeah.
You signal, close your gun ports. There's a tense moment, and you watch as they adjust their sails, and they adjust their sails, and there is a response back. Gun port broken. Cannot close.
Well, that's fucking bollocks.
You notice that
Yeah,
they are
tell
trying to
them we're
pick
not
up
willing-
speed now.
Okay, tell them we're not willing to trade. Let's get out of the way. And
Yeah.
if they keep following, we'll start firing.
Tell them our guns
How's
are
that
longer
sound?
range
Does that
than
sound
theirs as
good?
well.
I mean, you're the captain, Corzin, but maybe we should tell them we will fire if they...
If they keep
Something
following.
like
Do not approach with gun ports open. Or you will be fired upon.
Okay, make I want to say make an intimidation check, Corzin.
Okay.
I'm going to start using control wind to keep
Yeah.
the distance.
Yeah. Don't let them get any
19.
closer.
Yeah. 19.
Nice.
Okay, as you turn around, the ship is building up distance, but you suddenly you start shooting away with your comparatively much, like you have almost double the speed with sustained wind, and you watch as the Query Ferocian ship seems to judge the situation, knowing that they've made you before they can get in range, before they can even get in range with their bow guns to try and shoot down your mast. They peel off without making further indications and head in a different direction. You spend about a quarter of a day losing them over the horizon before returning on a bit of a wide track back to your route.
Does anyone else think that's a bit cool that we freak them out that much?
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a little bit cool,
That's
isn't
really
it? I mean,
good. That's
come on.
really good.
Always the best. The best victories are the ones that you win without having to fire a shot.
Oh, I love not having to have a battle.
Yeah.
No complaints here, Captain Horhace.
It'd be nice to win, but also it feels like there's too big a chance we wouldn't.
There is a...
Also, I don't want to kill everyone on their ship, and that's what would have to happen.
Yeah, it would.
There is a degree
Probably.
of relief that comes over the ship. Ship's pretty well armed, but still a bit dinged up from last time, and well, not quite ready to. Yeah, the crew are. The crew would rather, frankly, be attacking fat, cargo-laden merchants than fellow pirates or privateers.
Yeah, fair.
You continue on, making your way through and on to the end of First Fruits. You carry on into the month of full boughs as the days continue to grow warmer, and you find yourselves, well, in the fullness of summer, but also now solidly at the equator. So, let me just check something.
It'll be hot, won't it, if we're at the equator?
Yeah, okay.
I want to go swimming.
Keep
A
it in
lot.
note.
You can, because you have fly.
Yeah, you're actually
And
able to
also
catch up to the
water
ship.
breathing.
Slowly, but you can, comparatively. So you're able to
Me
go
and
for short
Marjorie the
swims.
octopus explore the depths,
Oh,
but not
Oh,
that
that's
deep.
cute.
Like a little bit. Deep,
I will
but not
remind
very
you
deep.
that it does cost you some of your incense to transform Marjorie into octopus form.
But she'll have such a lovely time.
Yeah, if you want to, you can. Just she won't be a pigeon until you convert her back.
Yeah, she'll be an octopus for a month or so.
Okay,
Aw.
you let Marjorie be an octopus. She has to kind of sit in a little bowl of salt water sometimes, but like just for at least a little time each day.
I'm just going to carry a bowl of water with me everywhere for
Okay.
the whole month.
with an octopus in it. Like, perch it next to you while you're
Beautiful
doing your
rainbow
wind
coloured
stuff
octopus.
and all that.
And the pair of
Yeah.
you have a jolly old time.
Jeffrey's
Celestia,
very jealous.
Oh,
roll me a Constitution and a Wisdom check, a save, please.
oh, off the table. Hang on.
Off the table, doesn't count.
Oh, it's bad though. Wisdom 10, con 7.
Ugh.
You don't get through, with 2 below 10, like 2 10 and below like that. I'm gonna say you don't really get through the week.
No,
No,
I don't.
all of it. You take another 10. You lose another 10 doses.
So I'm on 5 now.
You have 5 left. Like you're trying, but you just can't. You can't get the willpower together. Rotating it back around, then. Corzin.
Yeah.
Roll me a D10.
D10. Okay. 8.
Okay. D6.
2.
2. And I'll roll the last one. You towards or away? Okay. You actually catch up to around the 8th of full bows another ship, which is heading the same way but is slower than you. After all, you make
Okay.
excellent travel speed. And you watch as in the distance a full-on Haldanosman, like a fourth-rate style ship,
Ooh.
kitted out not for war, although it does have some defensive guns, but as a merchant ship, is making the long road to route to Sunder. It is flying Sulian colours.
Oh.
Well, make sure we're flying the same then.
Do you wish to signal them? You will easily be able to overtake them when the time comes.
Alright, yeah, I will signal them and ask them if they want to trade.
I will keep an eye out to check if they're pirates.
I will scry on the captain.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an established routine we do now. Like,
So as that's... you actually do this in advance. You take 10 minutes to start scrying before the signals are sent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Scamp, roll me... Fucking hell. Roll me a wisdom... Not a wisdom check, an intelligence... fuck it. Insight check, sorry. I'm just looking at the result on this die.
12.
12. Okay, hard to tell at this distance. You need to get closer. So... Celestia, you, again, natural fucking 20. You get a brief vision of a tall human man wearing a kind of white powdered wig and a blue frock coat. Turns and sort of frowns and flicks his hand. It's sort of, again, sort of instinctive adjustment. And again, you are pushed back.
Show me the fucking first mate on that ship over there flying Sulian colours, you bastard.
By this point, natural fucking 19. Again, boom! Similar image.
How long do I have?
So you have as long as you want because you are controlling this engagement. This is the thing. They are not sailing towards you. You are sailing away. But by the time you start doing your second search, because you kind of time this to send the first signal, you send out a signal inquiring whether they are willing to trade. I
do have another one I'd like to do when there's a minute.
Okay. They query what your... I'm just thinking about where they would be sending it. So I'm actually going to roll a d10 for this one because it wouldn't be that. Okay, they query, send back, indicating interest, but querying what goods you are carrying. They mention they are carrying a cargo of those rolls. They mentioned that they are carrying some cargo, half of which they are willing to. They might be willing to trade in kind. They do have, and they have some supplies, potentially depending on what you would like to trade.
Okay.
I would like to scry again.
Okay.
Show me the fucking bastarding bosun on that bastard ship over there flying fucking
Finally
still colours.
7. So
it's just Celestia alone in the sending room kicking things.
I'm going to say you're casting this and focusing. While that's happening, though, because there's 10 minutes going by, the semaphore exchange takes place.
Oh, totally, yeah. It's like stops happening while this happens.
So,
definitely.
They indicate
I've been half an hour.
They are willing to trade some of their wares. They also have some supplies. They're asking what you have for sale.
Tell them about my alcohol. This one tastes of feet. This one, I wanted one that tastes of the sea, so it's mostly just salt.
Alcoholic's brine, basically.
I mean, saltwater gin is a thing, and it's pretty good, just saying.
But this is like alcoholic brine.
Yeah, Scamp doesn't know what gin is.
I've been making a bowl of chocolate every morning and then 2 interesting alcohols.
Oh, you've got a fuckload of booze at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tell them about the pepper and the samovars.
Okay. You signal back. They return. Agreed. Please approach within 1.5 miles. Do not open your gun ports. We will not open ours. We will, and if you can please confirm your registry, we will send to. We have a mage on board. Can send to confirm authenticity. They just want to check you're not pirates.
down
Okay.
there. Do we have all that?
You do
We
actually.
should have
Yes,
done
you have
all of
paperwork
that.
as part of all of this. So as part of, well, you are a legally commissioned ship.
Yeah, true, actually.
You do actually have paperwork. You're able to send them. Essentially, you can semaphore over the reference, and their ship's mage can do a sending back to the Sulian Port Authority, and just check: are you pirates?
Fair, yeah.
And they will communicate. And if you send them that, then the Sulian Port Authority will communicate. No, they are privateers, but they're in good standing. So, do you want to send them that information?
Yes.
Okay. You do so. There is a short pause before there's after saying them, which they say, "Thank you. Sending confirmed. Please approach. We will approach. We will extend gangplanks and begin and commence trade." So you now say, I'd say that because you have such speed and they're actually slowing down to allow you to approach now, you are easily able to get within a mile by the time Celestia's sending takes effect. So you come to the bosun. The bosun is a quite burly looking... blue frock, right? There we go. Is a quite burly looking orc. Mm-hmm. And he's got thick blonde brows, short cut blonde hair. And he seems to be engaged in a conversation, calling up to the captain. You hear him call out, "So, Captain, what does it say?" That was weird. Eins, zwei, drei. "So, Captain, what does it say?" Nope, still can't get it. Anyway, the captain at least is Sulian. And calls back. The sending mage has confirmed that they are a registered privateer ship. We will approach with caution by the gun decks, just in case they are not as honourable as we believe, but we should be fine to trade. We should be able to get at least half of our cargo. I'll go check on it, sir. And the orc opens a hatch and goes downstairs. Down below the gun decks, past the single gun deck, actually. It might be single, double check. Gun deck. Past the crew quarters and down to the hold. One side of the hold has two sets of cargo. One side of the hold is filled with machinery. With what looks to be cotton textile equipment made presumably in Seoul or somewhere or similar, due to be shipped over to Sunder to be used in the various factories that are popping up.
Yeah.
The other side is cells, filled with a mixture of human and halfling and orc convicts, and a crowd of scared-looking goblins.
Do I see any brams?
I will say that on the goblin side and some of the humans and halflings, yes, you do.
Very obviously slaves.
This is a convict/slave ship as well as.
I get out of the scrang and run to Corzin.
Corzin, as you're approaching now, getting within about a mile, you see as Celestia runs up out of the from below decks.
She's looking mildly panicked. Corzin.
What is it? What did you find?
It's a slaver.
Right.
That's a slave ship. Not entirely, but it is.
I thought they were Sulian. Oh no,
They're trading. We've got to do something.
That's a Haldanos, man. They could have been in Haldanos for months before the whole revolution thing happened.
We're taking it down, right?
A number of the crew look to you, Corzin.
That we are.
Right.
If there's any slaves on that ship, we're freeing them.
How long do we have till we get there? Out of character. How long
sorry.
do we have?
Yeah.
You are a mile away. They are essentially slowed, allowing you to approach because you are coming from behind. So
Could we have more than 10 minutes?
if you slow down your approach, yes, you can take your time. You are currently traveling 8 miles an hour, so you are you're like 8,000 feet in a minute. I can say that if you slow down to half speed, which you can say you're doing so as part, you can blag you're doing so as part of boarding. Yeah, you can do 10 minutes of prep.
Could we slow down? If I have 10 minutes, I can do that thing that makes it really hard for them to get on our ship.
Good,
Get
do so.
into our ship.
They're not sanctumed.
They're not.
I can get into their ship.
Fuck, you can.
Yeah, they are not sanctumed
Yeah.
because
I
this
think
is not a navy ship.
Were the guards
Were there?
down there?
They weren't the focus of what you were looking at, but there were guards down there. I will say, roll me a retroactive perception check because it wasn't the focus of your attention.
No, and I think I panicked a bit. Oh, it's not great. It's a 5.
Some guards, more than 5, you were focused on the bosun, and you know that there are essentially combat ready not so much soldiers as armed security like sailors and so on, but people who are a ship like this. Yeah, there are people who are meant to deal with both mutiny and potential slave escapes and so on. So there are armed figures. You don't know how many. Both you know that there must at least be enough to form a company in the event of a boarding action, but beyond that, you don't know. You just don't know.
What is the crew complement of a...
Not sure how many guards. Some guards.
The crew complement of a 4th rate. One moment. I will just find that for you. Short delay, because I don't have that right in front of me this time.
Yeah, sorry. This
No. This is exactly the time to do it. So this is right, and I want this one. Okay, so this particular one has no. That's too early in history. There we go. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of difficulty here. I'm going to say that it has about 400. I may update.
They're bigger than us.
So yeah, this is actually no. They would have a lower amount than would be the equivalent for a naval ship because 4th rate is bigger than yours. They're about a size and a half bigger than you because they are a cargo ship. Though they have a reduced crew, so I want to say they've got about 350 odd crew.
Okay.
So yeah, but of an unknown amount of which are combat ready because also a slave ship.
Right. How many slaves / convicts were there?
Vaguely.
Intelligence check.
Oh God, I'm not doing well. 9.
Okay, there you would guess. One moment. I'm going to roll for this. Okay, you think there were around maybe 200. It was a big hold.
Like 200? It was like half their hold.
Shit.
They were not. They were
separate
not.
cells
They were
or big cells?
Single big cells, essentially chained together, pressed close to take the most advantage of space they could.
Shove them
How
all
many
together.
would we have to undo? How many chains would we have to undo to get them moving?
You
Like a
don't
lot,
know
I guess.
without being there.
No idea.
No, but you said they were all
Okay.
chained together.
They
so
are
like
chained
a lot.
together. There is essentially a long. There's like one long, not one long chain, but several long chains, and they are manacled to the chain, hands and feet.
Cool. Yeah, everybody's got manacles.
Okay,
Can you take people with you when you poof?
Yeah,
Only
Scamp, I was going to say,
one.
how many
I
times
can
can you
take
do
one.
that?
not that many, but
No, I didn't think so, but...
I can also go invisibly and start unlocking things.
True.
Alright,
I
I
can
think our
also
best play
carry
here.
objects. I could take some weapons.
Alright, I think our best play here is keep the captain talking and everyone occupied up top, whilst another group goes down below to free the slaves.
I can only take one at a time. And it's going to be a lot back and forth in terms of spells. I'm not sure I can do more than one trip there, really.
I think it's probably most sensible if you don't do more than one trip there.
Alright, well
But
let's figure out how to make the most of one trip then.
Who's the best person to bring?
I mean, Corzin, I feel like you need to be here.
Yeah, I need to
You can take me.
be the person.
I can do confusion, I can
I can make us
distract
both
people.
invisible, but we'll only have a minute.
Alright. A minute's not bad.
But it's
Alright,
a minute
I'm
you
gonna
can
have
cast
V.
in, and you'll still be invisible.
At the same time as that's happening, you see word of this has spread, and several members of several of the officers are standing up and have come up to the surface. Aojin is up there and watching. Alton's come up to look. Vig has. Molly is of course here. You can see that Triola is approaches as well, and you can see that Shen, the unofficial leader of the Goblin crew members, is smoking a pipe of tobacco but watching you carefully to see what you're doing. Triola approaches. Once we get close, Captain. Just if you need us to be preparing, my company and Talks will be ready for the word.
Excellent, do so.
Just so you know, with this spell that I'm doing, they're going to have trouble getting down ladders to you, they're going to have trouble getting through doors to you, and they're going to get confused if they try and come in.
So we want to lure them onto the ship.
I've had a thought. You can stick to walls, can't you?
Of course, all of my crew can.
You can also breathe underwater today, because that's a thing I do every morning.
He grins, his mandibles rising.
That's so
yes,
good.
we can.
You could just walk up the side of their ship.
The same Talks crew cannot, but if we go down beneath our ship and go across while the two are docked next to each other, it would take time. You will need to keep them distracted, and we would not be able to do it until they have extended gangplanks and the two ships are joined.
But, as a plus, that's really scary.
Yeah.
Which is great.
A company of spider tieflings appearing over the side of your ship behind you. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, what we want is to surrender as soon as possible.
Right, then what we want is for as many of the officers from that ship to be over here so we can hold them hostage.
And say we're not going to let you go until you free the slaves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Times have changed back home.
Yeah.
Right. And me and Scamp we'll teleport into the room, start unlocking things, see what we can do down there.
Vig and I will keep the officers talking for as long as we can, buying you as much time.
Because if things get bad, I can get us both out.
Yeah. By the way, new password this time is freedom.
Got it.
In case we get anyone new aboard.
Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, I have set obviously our crew and freedom is the password for anyone else new who comes aboard who we don't want to be like trapped on a flight of stairs forever.
It is the 8th of Full Bows.
Yeah.
1798. And as you sail towards this ship, preparing your first boarding action, your first act act of both piracy and liberation. We're going to pick up there next time.
No!
So, make a note of your plans. We'll pick up at the start of next episode as you put them into action and attempt to free the slaves aboard the, let's say, the SS Sunflower.
Okay.
Which is a miserable name for a slave ship.
It really is. It's awful.
But for now, thank you all very much for playing. Thank you all very much for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s.
There's pretty strange stuff on the sea, like living a Norrit story. But when you've chanced to make a change, then damn the plan, let's break some chains.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.